This page showcases the game Perfect Dark, featuring a prominent image of Joanna Dark, the game's main character. The page is from a Nintendo 64 game strategy guidebook, published under the MYCOM MOOC label, and a collaboration between 64 Dream and Nintendo Stadium. This page features the front cover of the Perfect Dark Mission Clear Guidebook. The cover prominently displays Joanna Dark, the game's main character, holding a gun. Above her, the title Perfect Dark is written in both Japanese and English, indicating this is a guide for the Nintendo 64 game. The subtitle, Perfect Mission Clear Guidebook, in English, is also visible, reinforcing its purpose as a strategy guide. This page presents the story introduction for Perfect Dark. It outlines a narrative where, for a long time since humanity's emergence on Earth, humans have been under constant observation by extraterrestrial beings. Daniel Carrington, the head of the Carrington Institute and a scientist, noticed this observation. Against the backdrop of dataDyne's rapid technological innovation, suspicion arose that their technology might have extraterrestrial origins. Amidst this, mysterious events began to occur, with people vanishing and strange animal deaths being discovered. A quote is presented, stating, "Someone in the universe is trying to get something important from us." Carrington decides to uncover the truth of these matters with the full force of the Carrington Institute. The story then shifts to 2023, where an SOS is sent from within dataDyne by Dr. Carroll and another individual. dataDyne is described as carrying out oppression against those who oppose the company. Carrington swiftly decides to dispatch a female agent to resolve the situation. This agent is revealed to be a new recruit, who graduated top of her class from secret operative training and is assigned the codename Perfect Dark. This agent is Joanna Dark, and this marks the beginning of her first mission orders. This page is the table of contents for the guidebook. It outlines several sections, starting with Game System, which includes guides for the game system itself, operation, information about the Carrington Institute, weapon data, and device data. The next section, Mission Clear, seems to detail walkthroughs for the game's missions, starting from Mission 11 at dataDyne headquarters titled Start, then progressing through locations like dataDyne Underground Labs for search, dataDyne HQ for protection, Carrington's Villa with a hostage situation, Chicago for infiltration, and the G5 building for surveillance. The mission list continues to Area 51, with scenarios like breakthrough, rescue, and escape, followed by an Alaska Air Force Base mission with disguise, a presidential plane mission about exposure, a crash site with a confrontation, Pelagic 2 for interference, Deep Sea with farewell, the Carrington Institute building for defense, a Skeetar spaceship for suppression, and the Skeetar Temple for a decisive battle. There are also special missions listed, Mr. Blonde, Mayan SOS, War, and Duel. The Combat Simulator section lists various level names such as Skadar, Pipe, Mine Base, G5 Building, Sewage Facility, Warehouse, Grid, Temple, Area 52, Base, Pavilion, Villa, Parking, Temple, Ruins, and Factory. Finally, there's a section on Perfect Dark related topics, specifically mentioning rare N64 titles, and an index at the end. This page is the Game System Guide section of the guidebook, starting with an overview of the game. It mentions that Perfect Dark, released in 1997, is a first-person perspective action shooting game, following in the footsteps of GoldenEye 007. The objective is to complete missions within stages, and this section will explain the game modes available. The page details two main game modes, Carrington Association and Solo Mission. The Carrington Association is described as the scientific organization where the protagonist Joanna Dark belongs, also functioning as a secret intelligence agency. Players can experience various training exercises here. Solo Mission is the single-player mode and main part of the game. Missions are given in each stage, and completing them progresses the story. There are 3 difficulty levels that increase the challenge, making missions harder, puzzles more complex, and enemy attacks more accurate, leading to greater damage to Joanna. The page also introduces 3 characters with profiles. Joanna Dark, age 23, described as having excellent reflexes and weapon skills, a new recruit to the Carrington Association with the codename Perfect Dark. Daniel Carrington, age 62, a world-renowned scientist and inventor, and the founder of the Carrington Association, who plans and directs missions. Cassandra DeVries, age 39, the head of dataDyne, described as power-hungry and manipulative, seeing Daniel Carrington as a rival and willing to do anything to win. Screenshots on the page show menu screens for mission selection and difficulty levels: Agent, Advanced, Perfect, and in-game action. This page details several game modes available in the game. The Combat Simulator mode supports up to 4 players in competitive matches with customizable rules, and the option to include computer-controlled opponents called simulants. The Cooperative mission allows 2 players to play through the solo missions together, either working closely or independently to achieve mission objectives. The Adversarial mission is a 2-player versus mode pitting Joanna Dark against an enemy player. Joanna wins by completing the mission objectives, while the enemy player wins by defeating Joanna. Enemy characters are weaker, but can revive multiple times. The page also introduces character profiles for Dr. Carroll, an AI developed by dataDyne specializing in decryption, whose advanced intelligence makes him question the company's motives. Trent Easton, the commander within the Department of Defense, is in charge of illicit activities and shares a partnership with Cassandra DeVries in their pursuit of power and money, driven by his autocratic personality. Mr. Bronde is a Skeeter warrior who has taken on a human form and uses a modulator unit in his mouth to speak with intelligence and persuasion, operating on Earth in this guise. The screenshots presented showcase various gameplay environments and combat situations. This page is part of the Operation Guide, detailing gameplay tips. It explains how to use the 3D stick and C buttons together for smoother movement, particularly when navigating corners and slopes, recommending against relying solely on the 3D stick to avoid jerky movements and wasted time. It also suggests using C buttons for zigzagging to make it harder for enemies to hit you. Another section emphasizes stealth, advising players to avoid direct combat when possible and move silently, hiding behind objects. It warns against making noise or being spotted by surveillance cameras, as this can alert enemies. If combat is unavoidable, players should aim for enemy weak spots. The page also introduces character profiles for Jonathan, a 28-year-old experienced secret agent skilled in stealth missions, the 23-year-old U.S. president, described as highly intelligent and decisive, and Elvis, a 23-year-old Malachian alien who monitors Earth and is friendly towards humans, though formal contact hasn't been established. The page includes screenshots illustrating gameplay scenarios. This page continues the Operation Guide with more gameplay advice, focusing on combat tactics. It recommends aiming for headshots as they inflict significantly more damage and can defeat enemies with a single shot, unlike hitting limbs. The guide also stresses understanding weapon characteristics. It mentions that there are many weapons, each with unique properties and different uses. Players are encouraged to use the shooting range to familiarize themselves with weapon accuracy, firing rates, range, and reload speeds. Knowing these details is said to be key to gaining an advantage in combat situations, adapting weapon choice to different scenarios. Finally, the page advises players to develop their own strategies or patterns for missions as the game progresses and becomes more challenging, especially when aiming for perfect mode. Simply playing repeatedly without a plan isn't enough. It suggests learning enemy positions and movement patterns to create effective routes and tactics, recommending players to consult the warning column in the strategy guide for further important tips. At the bottom, there's a profile for the Skeetar, describing them as a hostile alien race and longtime enemies of the Maya. Physically small and snake-like, they compensate by using large mecha armor in battles. Their age is stated as unknown. This page details the Carrington Institute within Perfect Dark. It explains that at the Carrington Institute, you can gather various information, practice weapon shooting, and undergo device training. When you first start the game, Daniel Carrington will guide you around the Institute. The page highlights 2 key areas: the shooting training range and the training room. The shooting training range allows you to practice with weapons that appear in missions. If you achieve gold with all weapons, classic cheat weapons will become available. The training room uses a simulator for holo training, with a total of 7 training sessions. Successfully completing all of these will unlock a bonus mission called Duel. A map of the Carrington Institute's first floor is also displayed, showing the layout and marking locations of elevators and door locks. This page shows the second floor of the Carrington Association in Perfect Dark. It highlights several key areas, including Joanna Dark's office, Carrington's office, the info room, the information area, the device lab, and storage. In the info room, you can access profiles of characters that appear in solo missions. The information section allows you to view details about vehicles encountered in solo missions. The page specifically mentions the hoverbike and explains that you can ride it by pressing the B button twice. The device lab is described as a place to practice using devices that appear in missions before you actually use them in solo missions. It gives an example of the mobile camera device, explaining how it can be used to infiltrate enemy camps, identify people using heat signatures, and open doors. Training content includes the info room, hacker PC in the device lab, and holo training image recording. The controls are also outlined, using the Z trigger and B and R buttons for door operation and canceling actions. Finally, a map of the Carrington Association's second floor is shown, outlining the layout of these different rooms. This Perfect Dark Guide entry details 6 weapons. Bare Hands has no ammo and 2 modes: punch and weapon disarm, allowing for disarming enemies or a one-hit kill from behind. The Falcon 2 is a silenced pistol with 8-round magazine, 800 max ammo, and a 2x zoom, featuring single-shot and grip attack modes. The MagSec 4, a military pistol with an 8-round magazine, 800 max ammo, and 2.4x zoom, offers single-shot and 3-shot burst. The Mueller, with a 20-round magazine and 800 max ammo, has a blade and can fire 5 rounds at once via charge-up mode. The Phoenix, with an 8-round magazine and 800 max ammo, offers single-shot and explosive shell modes. Lastly, the DY-357 Magnum, LX, has a 6-round magazine, 200 max ammo, and is a one-hit kill weapon with slow reload, and offers single-shot and grip attack modes. This guide describes 6 weapons from Perfect Dark. The CMP-150 is a dataDyne submachine gun with rapid fire and lock-on, ideal for close combat. The Cyclone, a bodyguard weapon, features rapid fire and a magazine dump, though it's wasteful. The Callisto N, used by Macakians, offers rapid fire and a high-impact mode for penetrating obstacles, albeit with reduced accuracy. The RCP-120, a Carrington Institute machine gun, has rapid fire and a spike cloak for temporary invisibility. The laptop gun disguises itself and offers rapid fire and automatic machine gun modes, with its second mode best utilized with low ammo. Lastly, the Dragon transforms into a sensor bomb proximity mine, often used deceptively in multiplayer. Perfect Dark features a variety of weapons. The K7 Avenger offers continuous fire and hazard detection, but limited ammo. The AR-34, a Carrington Institute rifle, provides accurate, rapid fire and scoping capabilities. The S-Dragon transforms, using G-launchers for explosive area damage. The shotgun excels at close range but reloads slowly. The Reaper is a high rate of fire weapon with poor accuracy and rotating/grinder modes. Finally, the S-Rifle, a Carrington Institute sniper rifle, offers scoping and a Shigami crouching mode for increased stability. The next page details more weapon data from Perfect Dark. The Farsight is an 8-shot magazine weapon with 100 max ammo and no zoom, featuring an X-ray scan and a search mode to detect life forms, although lock-on can be slow for fast targets. Its weapon modes are railgun and search. The Devastator, also with an 8-shot magazine but 40 max ammo and no zoom, is a grenade launcher designed to bounce grenades off walls, offering tricky feint attacks. Its modes are G-launcher and wall shot. The R-Launcher, a 1-shot magazine weapon with only 3 max ammo and no zoom, is a powerful rocket launcher with high destruction but slow reload, offering rocket bullet and homing rocket modes. The Slayer, similarly a 1-shot magazine with 3 max ammo and no zoom, is described as a weapon to instill fear in enemies, a Skeetar design with a rocket camera for control until impact, and its modes are rocket bullet and rocket camera. The Crossbow, with a 5-shot magazine and 69 max ammo and no zoom, is a short-range pistol-sized weapon for Carrington Association agents, concealable and silent for assassinations, offering tranquilizer and kill modes with a slow reload. Finally, the Tranquilizer, an 8-shot magazine weapon with 200 max ammo and no zoom, was originally a tranquilizer spray, but usable as a rapid-fire weapon, injecting tranquilizers that damage and impair vision. Its second mode is short range, and its modes are tranquilizer and lethal injection. The next page continues the weapon data for Perfect Dark. It details the Laser, a list-mounted weapon with unlimited ammo that fires accurate shots but has low stopping power, offering laser pulse for long-range and short-range laser focus modes. The Hand Grenade has a 1-shot magazine and 12 max ammo. It is a thrown weapon with a 4-second fuse or a sensor pinball mode that bounces and detonates upon enemy detection. The N-Bomb, with a 1-shot magazine and 10 max ammo, is a portable neutron bomb available in impact explosion mode or sensor explosion mode, but its wide blast radius makes it unsuitable for confined areas. The time bomb, again with a one-shot magazine and 10 max ammo, has a short fuse and explodes after a set time. Its second mode is hazardous material detection, but its fixed detonation timing makes it less user-friendly as a weapon. The sensor bomb, also one-shot magazine and 10 max ammo, detonates upon detecting movement and can be triggered by shooting, useful for setting traps and detecting enemy approaches, with sensor bomb explosion and hazardous material detection modes. Lastly, the remote bomb, with a one-shot magazine and 10 max ammo, is a remote detonated bomb, with a remote control set in the second weapon mode, but can also be detonated by pressing A/B buttons simultaneously for faster deployment, offering remote bomb explosion and detonation modes. This page details device data for Perfect Dark, showcasing various spy gadgets. It presents the data linker, used for data exchange, and the ECM main, which disrupts electronic communications. The Cam Spy is described as a mobile camera for infiltration, capable of emitting heat images to open doors, with variations like the Bomb Spy, which uses explosives, and Dr. Spy, which fires paralyzing agents. The Door Coder is a handheld device for automatic lock decryption. For detection, there's the R Tracker for target location, and the IR Scanner for thermal imaging and finding hidden areas. The X Scanner offers wall penetration vision surpassing night vision and IR, while Night Eye is an enhanced vision scope highlighting life signs. The HR Scope is a long-range visual scanner, and lastly, the Spike Cloak is a stealth device that obscures the user's presence until they attack. The next page continues the Device Data section and introduces shooting range cheats. In device data, we learn about the Boost Pill, a combat drug-altering time perception, the Communication Linker, a small relay for secure communication with agents, and the Transmitter Electronic Marker, a Mayan-made signal device using child communication technology. Also described are Auto-OPE, advanced Mayan medical technology for automatic surgery, exclusive to Mayans, backup data for AI personality codes from Dr. Carroll, representing pre-algorithm modification, the mundane attaché case for luggage, and the uniform, a disguise outfit that, while reducing danger by mimicking enemies, can be seen through. Lastly, the Psychic Gun, developed in Area 51, uses chemical bullets to turn enemies into allies. The page then details shooting range cheats, explaining an easy method to earn gold. By selecting the laptop gun in the shooting range and initiating the second weapon mode with unmanned machine guns, players can pause just before deploying, select Quit, and then quickly unpause. This glitch allows the laptop gun's unmanned machine gun to shoot targets in the range, simplifying gold acquisition. While accuracy is limited, affecting weapons like the DY Magnum, earning gold with every weapon unlocks cheat classic weapons. This page, titled For Mission Clear, seems to be the start of a new section. It prominently features Joanna Dark holding a weapon, and the Japanese text translates to Mission Clear Edition, suggesting this section focuses on strategies and guides to complete missions in Perfect Dark. This page is a guide for Mission 11 of Perfect Dark, titled dataDyne Main Building Startup. It explains that this mission is designed to teach players the basics of the game, such as using various tools and weapons, and understanding mission objectives. The page lists 5 mission objectives for different difficulty levels. Disable the security camera management device, obtain the necklace key, transmit the important file, disable the emergency communication system, and take the elevator to the basement. The page also provides a rooftop map highlighting security camera locations and elevators. There are warning boxes giving tips on dealing with security cameras, advising players to destroy cameras on the helipad and inside the building to avoid detection by guards. Finally, an instruction box explains how to disable the security camera system by using an ECM main, which will temporarily stop all cameras in the building. This page continues the guide for Mission 11 of Perfect Dark, dataDyne Main Building Startup, and details the next objective, which is to acquire the necklace key on the 23rd floor. The guide instructs players to go to the 23rd floor, head left, and activate a switch to open Cassandra's office. Once inside, players are told to use a non-lethal grip attack to subdue Cassandra and obtain the necklace key without shooting. A warning section highlights that the office door switch is somewhat hidden, located near a computer desk on another adjacent desk, which might be confusing for players. The page also displays a map of the dataDyne main building's 23rd floor. Regarding cheat codes, it mentions the classic aiming cheat, which becomes available after clearing the mission and provides a GoldenEye 007 style aiming reticle, noting a drawback that the enemy lock-on color remains unchanged. For time attack, the all weapons cheat for the advanced agent difficulty is highlighted with a time limit of 1 minute 30 seconds. The strategy for this cheat involves using the ECM main from a distance and setting it on the base, calling the elevator in advance, getting the necklace from the already open office, and using the ECM main again in the elevator to reach the security room quickly. Successful completion unlocks the all weapons mode. Finally, at the bottom of the page, a switch icon is visible. The guide for Perfect Dark's dataDyne main building mission, focusing on the 22nd floor, details a VIP escort objective. The player must transport a VIP from a locked room on the 21st floor to a 22nd floor computer room. Players are cautioned to capture the VIP immediately after a phone call concludes, and to prevent the VIP from erasing data after accessing the computers. The guide warns of an automatic door on the 22nd floor that releases enemies. It emphasizes clearing both floors of enemies before retrieving the VIP to avoid complications and accidental VIP death. A map of the 22nd floor is provided. This page continues the guide for Mission 11, dataDyne main building, now focusing on the 21st floor. A floor map of the 21st floor is presented, and it outlines mission objectives through warning boxes. One warning advises destroying the security cameras on both the 21st and 22nd floors to prevent more enemies from appearing when spotted, suggesting destroying them from blind spots. Another warning describes luring the VIP, obtained with the key from Mission 3, and keeping them alive. Following the VIP will lead to the 21st floor elevator and unlock a room. It also mentions that the room the VIP escapes to is an armory, and by pursuing them, you can acquire a powerful PC gun and ammunition, recommending you get this weapon to prepare for combat on the first floor. Key icons are shown for the elevator, shield, and weapons. This page continues the guide for Mission 11, dataDyne main building, now focusing on the first floor. The guide details two objectives: disabling the emergency notification system and getting ready for combat. To disable the system, once you reach the first floor, you should head to the security room to the right from the stairs connecting to the elevator and place an ECM mine on the panel on the left side of the room. It's recommended to deal with the strong enemies in the vicinity beforehand. Regarding combat readiness, the guide points out that the elevator is made of glass, making you easily spotted by enemies. As enemies will quickly approach as you get to the first floor, it is advised to reload your weapon beforehand. The page presents a floor map of the first floor and includes map icons for elevators and shields. This page continues the Mission 11 guide, dataDyne main building, and offers several tactical warnings. Firstly, in the security room, it's advised to use explosions to your advantage by destroying the machines present to defeat nearby enemies, which can save ammunition. Secondly, the guide points out that the CMP-150 weapon is effective on the first floor and onwards, as the background music changes, and both the quality and number of enemies increase. It mentions that areas beyond the first floor become challenging, and the CMP-150 is a recommended weapon to deal with this difficulty. For a safer route, after exiting the elevator on the first floor, instead of using the stairs, jumping towards the security room direction is suggested, as it is a safer path, with less risk of encountering enemies. The guide also warns that enemies are waiting along the route to the underground elevator, and recommends using shields if your health is low, and quickly clearing the area by opening the wall door. Lastly, it reveals that spare magazines are hidden behind the reception desk, located near the large door at the entrance, advising players to collect these two magazines to prepare for future battles and as a reliable weapon resource. The next page features a guide for Mission 12, titled dataDyne Underground Laboratories Search. It presents a map of the underground laboratory area, marked with points of interest labeled A through D and numbered 1 through 4. The map also uses icons to indicate door locks and shields. On the right side of the page, mission objectives are listed for 3 difficulty levels: Agent, Advanced Agent, and Perfect Agent. These objectives include investigating research on radioactive material, activating cleaning robots, interrupting an experiment by scientists, obtaining an item from the experiment, and rescuing Dr. Carroll. This page continues the guide for Mission 12, dataDyne Underground Laboratory Search. It details specific objectives and warnings for players. Objective 1 is to investigate radioactive material research. The guide warns that Area 1 has strong radiation that can cause damage and severely impair vision. It advises players not to enter the third door, but to use the cam spy to investigate and safely secure the target. Warning 1 advises players to replenish ammo. Starting from the elevator, going right and through a door, players will encounter one enemy and two more in the room beyond. Defeating them and collecting ammo is recommended for future battles. Warning 2 suggests that taking the sensor bomb in the room used for the cam spy mission in Task 1 is unnecessary. It explains that the damage from the sensor bomb is not very useful and not worth the risk of radiation exposure and vision impairment. Warning 3 guides players to open a maintenance hatch. From the starting point, opening the right-hand door will lead to a room with many computers. Players should operate the machine with the red screen to open the maintenance hatch at point C. The guide mentions that a K7 Avenger prototype impact test is being conducted underground in that area. The next page continues. The Perfect Dark Guide for the dataDyne Underground Laboratory Search Mission, focusing on the lowest level of Underground Laboratory 1. Section 2 is about activating a cleaning robot. It instructs players to operate computers in a passageway entered from point A in Underground Laboratory 1, following the order 1 then 2, to rewrite the cleaning robot's program. It warns that incorrect order requires restarting the process. Section 4, titled Double CMP 150, details a method to get an extra CMP 150 weapon. To achieve this, in the passage to the cleaning robot activation room, players need to defeat 3 enemies without being detected. The guide recommends using the cam spy to lure the enemies, hiding in a blind spot, deploying the cam spy, and then manipulating the enemies to turn their backs so they can be attacked from behind. After defeating them and operating the computer, a white weapon rack will open. The page also features a map section with points labeled A and B and numbered points 2 to 1 and 2 to 2, along with screenshots and map icons for door locks and weapons. The next page details Part 3 of the Perfect Dark Guide, focusing on interrupting the scientist's experiment in the dataDyne Underground Laboratory 2. The objective is to stop the experiment in rooms marked 1, 2, and 3, each containing scientists. Importantly, killing the scientists will result in mission failure. The guide specifically highlights Room 3, warning that if you are seen interrupting the experiment, an alarm will trigger security guards. Approaching the machine afterwards will alert them, leading to an attack. It clarifies that the target machine is not the alarm system itself, and players need to find a different machine to shut down. The page also features a map section showing areas labeled D, E, and F, and points marked 3 to 1, 3 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 2, and 3 to 1, along with AG indicators. This page continues the Perfect Dark Guide, focusing on Mission 12 within the dataDyne Underground Laboratory, specifically the Exploration section. It covers areas called Underground Laboratory 2, Lowest Level, and Underground Laboratory 3. Section 4 is titled Get the Items from the Experiment, and it details obtaining 3 items: the K7 Avenger, Night Vision, and a prototype shield. Section 5 is about a gap in data link connection, which warns that using a data link in this area will attract enemies. It advises players to switch to weapons and fight, or, if sensor bombs were acquired in Mission 1, they can be placed in front of the area to automatically defeat approaching enemies. Section 6 explains how to pass the laser grid. It mentions that the laser grid blocks Sector 3, and that in Mission 2, the program was modified so that cleaning robots can be used to pass through. The page also includes map sections labeled C, E, F, and G, along with icons for door locks, unmanned machine guns, and shields. Screenshots illustrate item pickups, data link usage, and navigating laser grids. This page guides players through Perfect Dark's dataDyne Underground Laboratory, focusing on Mission 12. Section 4 warns of automatic machine guns, advising caution and recommending the K7 Avenger. Destroy the second machine gun from below while hidden. Section 5 describes the final encounter with Dr. Carroll, who appears after bypassing the robot defenses. The page also reveals cheat codes. Slow motion, solo, unlocks after mission completion, allowing gameplay in slow motion. The time attack cheat is Boxer on perfect difficulty. The strategy involves starting near the yellow robot, entering a hidden door, reprogramming, and returning, optimizing time. The guide emphasizes the importance of the cleaning robot's patrol cycle and that waiting for scientist dialogue isn't needed. Map sections 3, 4, 5, and 8 are included. This page details Mission 13 of Perfect Dark, titled dataDyne HQ Protection. The mission objectives are listed for Agent, Advanced Agent, and Perfect difficulties, and include getting on the first elevator, restarting the second elevator, destroying the hovercopter, defeating all bodyguards, and reaching the helipad for escape. The guide focuses on the first objective, get on the first elevator, stating it is straightforward with no obstacles or elevator traps, making the mission itself simple, but warns that future parts will be more challenging. It advises leaving Dr. Carol on the first floor for safety. The page also includes a map of the area and icons indicating door locks, stairs, and elevators. This guide section for Perfect Dark's dataDyne HQ protection mission covers restarting the second elevator and navigating the safety zone on the 21st floor. Battle in the dark advises using night vision and headshots in the initial darkness, with enemies at locations 1 to 5. Defeating enemies undetected rewards the player with a DY-357 Magnum. Restart the second elevator explains that activating the computer at location 2 restarts the elevator, but triggers female bodyguard spawns. Crouching while activating the switch protects against hovercopter attacks. The safety zone section warns of persistent hovercopter pursuit. The safe room is at location 4. Entering and hiding in room 4 is advised to evade the hovercopter, as the corridor below the safe room is dangerous. A map highlights key locations, elevators, and warning zones. The next page of the guide covers 2 key points for the dataDyne HQ mission. The first section, Dragon Key Acquisition, explains that if you defeat the enemies on the 21st floor without being detected, a specific enemy will appear near the second elevator on the 21st floor. Defeating this enemy will grant you a key, which is used to enter Cassandra's office and obtain the dragon. The second section, Shotgun Ambush Targeting, warns that on floors above the 21st, many female bodyguards appear armed with shotguns. These shotguns are powerful at close range, but have a delay between shots. The guide advises exploiting this delay to defeat them safely. Below these sections is a map labeled dataDyne HQ 22nd Floor. The map key identifies icons for door locks, stairs, and elevators. Location 4 is marked on the map, seemingly indicating a continuation of the safe room strategy from the previous floor, but now on the 22nd floor. This page of the guide for Perfect Dark covers the 23rd floor of the dataDyne headquarters mission. It highlights 2 important warning points. Warning 5 discusses obtaining the R launcher. It advises that on the 23rd floor, the hovercopter is the most effective weapon to defeat enemies. To acquire the R launcher, it's located in the central area, with the dialogue loop displayed on a monitor, specifically on top of a stand. The guide strongly recommends obtaining this weapon. Warning 6 is titled Dragon's Lair. It describes Cassandra's office, stating that upon entering, you should aim for the top of the desk and fire a remote mine. If aimed correctly at the back right of the room, it can destroy the wall, revealing a powerful dragon weapon inside. The page also includes a map of the 23rd floor and a section numbered 3 titled Hovercopter Crashing. This section provides advice on defeating the hovercopter enemy. It states that while the MP-150 might not be effective, using the R launcher is essential for dealing with it. The guide recommends firing 1 R launcher shot and suggests fighting from safe locations like behind chairs or stair landings. An image shows the hovercopter being destroyed. This page continues the Perfect Dark guide, now covering the area just before the rooftop. It focuses on a section titled Defeat All Bodyguards, where you will encounter 5 female bodyguards. The guide advises that after Cassandra finishes speaking, the lights will go out and the bodyguards will attack. It's recommended to approach the electrical switch beforehand and turn the lights back on quickly, even if it gets dark. Bodyguards with night vision will be briefly stunned, allowing you to target the 2 bodyguards on the slope towards the ECM main area first. After defeating them, hiding behind objects will make it easier to deal with the remaining enemies. There's also a warning section that highlights the importance of protecting Dr. Carol. If Dr. Carol is defeated, the mission will fail. To keep her safe from the fight with the female bodyguards, the guide suggests temporarily leaving her in a safe location downstairs. The next page details Mission 13 of Perfect Dark, titled dataDyne Main Building Protection, and focuses on the objective Return to the helipad for escape. The guide instructs the player to eliminate all enemies and head to the rooftop helipad. If a hovercopter appears and is not defeated, it will wait near the helipad, so the recommendation is to use the R launcher from below to take it down. The page also features a rooftop map highlighting point 5 at the helipad and point 3 nearby, along with a location marked A. There are cheat sections for Clear Cheat and Time Attack Cheat. The Clear Cheat unlocks the R launcher weapon after completing the mission. It describes the R launcher as a very powerful Joanna Dark weapon with homing capabilities to track enemies, though its rotation performance is not great. The Time Attack Cheat for high-speed punch is available at agent level with a time limit of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The guide suggests for time attack mode on floors 21 and 22 to ignore the female bodyguards. On the rooftop floor, eliminate all bodyguards in the area before the elevator quickly. If you defeat the first 2 enemies swiftly and dash to the elevator, Dr. Carol will be safe, even if other enemies remain. The next page features Mission 2 of Perfect Dark, titled Carrington's Villa Person. This mission's objective is to rescue Carrington. The page provides a map of the villa exterior, showing various locations marked with numbers and letters. It also includes a table outlining mission objectives for different difficulty levels: Agent, Advanced Agent, and Perfect Agent. The mission objectives are, quote, 1. Rescue the ally who became a decoy. 2. Defeat all snipers. 3. Restore the wind power generation system. 4. Prevent hacking. 5. Capture enemy soldiers. Cakes. Rescue Carrington. The map also indicates the starting points for Agent/Advanced Agent and Perfect Agent difficulties, along with locations of enemies, weapons, shields, and door locks within the villa area. This page continues the guide for Mission 2 of Perfect Dark, Carrington's Villa Person, focusing on specific objectives and weapon acquisition. Section 1 details Rescue the ally who became a decoy, explaining that in Agent and Advanced Agent modes, you must save a teammate at the embankment using the S rifle to quickly eliminate enemies, highlighting the importance of aiming and using the C button. Section 5 covers Capture Enemy Soldiers, a Perfect Agent mode objective, where you begin in a dangerous situation with 2 enemies and must immediately engage in hand-to-hand combat as there is no time to switch weapons. Capturing enemies allows you to take their weapons and automatically complete Mission 4. Warning 1 describes how to get the S rifle on the roof, advising you to defeat the sniper on the roof near the start to make the S rifle drop, then shoot it with a bullet to knock it down for collection, suggesting the R-pop gun for easier aiming. Warning 2 explains Get the Devastator, stating that destroying the container at the heliport will give you the powerful Devastator weapon. Furthermore, defeating the sniper on the nearby wall within 38 seconds of the mission start will reward you with double CMP 150s. This page continues the Mission 2 Carrington's Villa Infiltration Guide, showing map sections marked A, B, C, and D with icons for weapons, door locks, and stairs. There are cheat sections, one for a Clear Cheat, which unlocks the S rifle by clearing the mission. Another section details a time attack cheat called Hit and Run on the advanced level with a time limit of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The instructions below this describe completing Mission 1, running through a tunnel, jumping over obstacles, and using doors B to D to reach the underground floor, where enemies are waiting. The guide suggests attacking enemies in front of the last door for efficiency. This page continues the Mission 2 Carrington's Villa Infiltration Guide, focusing on the second floor of the villa. It outlines 2 main objectives: to defeat all 8 snipers and to prevent a hacking attempt. For the snipers, the guide directs players to map page 36 and suggests using the S rifle or even the CMP 150. The hacking objective requires restoring power and then eliminating 3 hackers within 60 seconds, while being careful not to accidentally destroy the computers. A warning box points out that the S rifle is located in the bathroom at the marked spot, and recommends using the bulletproof door for cover during combat. The map also indicates the locations of a shield and an assault gun. The next page continues the guide for Mission 2, Carrington's Villa Infiltration, now focusing on the villa's first floor. The main objective detailed is to restore the wind power generation system. The guide indicates the wind power system is located in the villa's basement level. It mentions the power source is in 2 locations and instructs the player to operate controls in a specific sequence. Operating controls 1 and 2 can be in any order, but control 3 should be last. A warning section advises players to follow the floor wiring to easily locate the wind power generation system in the basement, while also cautioning to be careful of the floor once inside. The page includes a map of the villa's first floor marked with locations G and F and numbers 3 and 4. Screenshots are shown depicting a doorway marked 3 on the map and a blue cylindrical structure, presumably part of the wind power system. Finally, map icons are shown for door lock and stairs. This page continues the guide for Mission 2, Carrington's Villa Infiltration, focusing on the objective to rescue Carrington. The guide indicates Carrington is being held in a room in the basement and can be reached via the right door or the wine cellar back door. It notes that the door key is held by a helmet soldier, specifically dropped by one of the last enemies defeated. A warning section highlights enemies hidden in the wine cellar behind wine barrels and shelves, advising caution. Another warning clarifies that the door key for Carrington's room is held by the last enemy defeated amongst those appearing in the wine cellar. The page features a map section detailing the basement area, marked with warning locations, alongside screenshots showing in-game views likely from the wine cellar area and Carrington's location. The next page details Mission 31, Chicago Infiltration from Perfect Dark. The mission objectives are listed for Agent, Advanced Agent, and Perfect Agent difficulties, which include retrieving secret items, setting a transmitter on a limousine, securing an escape route, using a taxi as a diversion, and infiltrating the G5 building. The first objective, retrieving secret items, is explained, noting the case is hidden at location 2. It mentions multiple routes are available, but recommends taking the drainage channel as an easier route for combat. 2 warnings are highlighted. The first warns against attacking civilians, stating it will cause mission failure, and advises using tranquilizers instead. The second warning cautions against approaching the building entrance before completing Mission Objective 5, as it will also result in mission failure, advising caution. Finally, map icons are shown and explained as shield, door lock, and stairs icons. This page displays a map of the Chicago City area for Mission 31, Chicago Infiltration from Perfect Dark. It highlights key points on the map using numbered markers. Objective number 2 is detailed as setting a transmitter to the limousine, instructing the player to place a transmitter on the limousine before it departs. It suggests using the drainage channel, indicated by marker 2 on the map, to reach the underside of the vehicle discreetly. A warning is highlighted in yellow, labeled number 3, explaining that in agent mode, a shield is positioned at the drainage channel exit near the taxi. The map also indicates the location of a weapon pickup, marked as number 1. This page continues to detail Mission 31, Chicago Infiltration, and focuses on Objective 3, Secure an Escape Route. The guide explains that to achieve this, you need to set remote explosives on the emergency stairs, either on the 2nd or 3rd floor, which are marked on the map. It notes that the escape route in the next mission, 32, will change depending on which floor you choose. Warning number 4 highlights that the emergency stairs are a combat zone with many enemies. It advises clearing out the enemies, particularly around walls, before venturing into the open area at the bottom of the stairs to calmly set your remote explosives. The page also includes map icons for stairs, door locks, and weapons. This page continues. Mission 31, Chicago Infiltration, offering gameplay tips. Firstly, it details how to acquire the bomb spy item by manipulating trash cans near oil stains to lure enemies, and then bombing the can. Using this item can clear Mission 4. Secondly, it advises using a taxi for diversionary tactics during datalink operations, but warns about patrol robots. If the taxi is destroyed, the mission fails, so players should exploit robot patrol patterns or use the taxi front for cover while using the datalink. A separate warning highlights the danger of patrol robots, emphasizing their strong attacks and suggesting players hide from their predictable patrol routes. Finally, it mentions strange kanji graffiti in the area, especially in perfect mode, where enemy attacks are intense and observation is difficult. Players are encouraged to use no cheat codes to examine the graffiti and discover various characters. The page includes screenshots illustrating these gameplay tips and warnings, such as the bomb spy inside a trash can, a taxi in the game, a patrol robot in a corridor, and close-ups of the strange kanji graffiti on the walls. This page continues the Chicago Infiltration Mission Guide, focusing on an area called Pond Punk, located in the Chicago City underground. Warning 6 details the path to the Double Falcon, explaining that players should proceed through a silver door near Rim's parked car on page 44. Following the stairs down and defeating enemies leads to a larger area, as enemies will attempt to flee deeper into the doorway. Warning 7 Falcon is on the counter. Reveals the location of the Falcon weapon. It is situated on a counter in a wide room on the left side of the map, enabling dual Falcon combat. However, the guide notes that the Falcon's ammo is limited and may not be very useful. It also humorously points out that a yellow object in a container on the left is cheese. The page includes a map of the area with weapon, stairs, and shield icons and screenshots illustrating the described locations and weapon pickups. This page continues the Mission 31 Chicago Infiltration Guide and covers several key points. It explains how to use the bomb spy effectively, advising players to deploy it safely during Mission 5, move it to the elevator, and detonate it to eliminate surrounding enemies for mission completion. Next, it describes using shutters in the city streets as temporary safe havens to change weapons or reload during combat. It then details Mission 5, Infiltrate G5 Building, instructing players to use a taxi or bomb spy for infiltration, emphasizing stealth, and advising that enemies don't necessarily need to be defeated to progress. The page also features cheat codes. The Clear cheat unlocks DK mode, which is described as a fun mode where all characters' heads become large and blocky, including Joanna. The Time Attack cheat for the Psychic Gun level on Perfect difficulty with a time limit of 2 minutes and 00 seconds is also shown. Lastly, the page includes a text box explaining the Time Attack cheat in more detail, stating players should go through the drain pipe to the limousine's undercarriage, attach a transmitter to the limousine from the street, and be careful with positioning to avoid destroying the limousine with the transmitter's shockwave. Afterwards, players should retrieve the bomb spy and throw remote bombs from the bottom floor to the second floor of the emergency stairs, then use the bomb spy in a coordinated attack to dash to location 5. This page details Mission 32 of Perfect Dark, titled G5 Building Capture. The mission objective is to infiltrate the G5 building, which is the same setting as Mission 31, emphasizing stealth and hiding from enemies, while utilizing preparations from the previous mission. The mission objectives vary by difficulty level, including turning off the communication jamming system, disabling laser grids, recording a meeting, acquiring personnel backup data, and escaping from the building. There are 2 key warnings highlighted. Firstly, it advises that for enemies who can vanish, using the CMP-150 weapon with lock-on will be effective for chasing them. Secondly, it points out that a crossbow can be obtained by defeating enemies with bare hands in the first parking lot. Although crossbow ammo is limited, it is a powerful weapon. The page also features a map of G5 Building 1 and indicates the starting point along with locations for Warning 1 and Warning 2, as well as a shield location marked A. Map icons are shown for weapons, stairs, and shields. The difficulty levels mentioned are Agent, Advanced, and Perfect. This page continues the guide for Mission 32 of Perfect Dark, G5 Building Capture, focusing on the second part of the G5 building map, labeled G5 Building 2. Objective number 1 for this section is to turn off the communication jamming system. The guide advises that while one of the 4 enemies in the area is patrolling, the other 3 are positioned near the jamming system, warning players to be careful not to destroy the system by shooting it. Warning number 3 highlights that being spotted by an enemy before completing Mission 3 will trigger an alarm, causing the meeting to be cancelled and resulting in mission failure. It notes that enemies can shoot through glass doors, suggesting taking out distant enemies before they reach the alarm. Specifically at door A on the map, the guide advises waiting for the patrolling soldier to move from left to right, then opening the door and shooting them in the back. The page includes a map of G5 Building 2 and screenshots illustrating the game environment and tactical advice. One screenshot likely shows the communication jamming system, while another demonstrates shooting enemies through a door. This page continues the Perfect Dark Guide for Mission 32 G5 Building Capture and focuses on the second objective, Laser Grid Off. It explains that in the meeting room, laser grids are set up on the ceiling. To disable them, you need to turn off 4 devices located in the room, which will eliminate the lasers. Warning number 4 is about 2 alarms. It advises that further along the pipe route, in this area, there are alarms. If enemies standing nearby are not defeated, you may be discovered. It recommends using the F2 silencer as a weapon in this situation. The page also shows a map section for G5 Building 2 and screenshots that illustrate the game. Map icons are also shown indicating weapons, stairs, and door locks. This page continues the Perfect Dark Guide for Mission 32 G5 Building Capture. It details Objective 3, Record the Meeting, instructing players to proceed along the pipe until it ends, to receive messages that teach how to use the CamSpy gadget. Warning of dangerous traps beyond the wall. Warning number 5 is about obtain N-bomb. It refers back to Mission 31 on page 44, mentioning setting remote bombs on the 3rd floor where N-bombs will appear. These are suggested to be acquired, as they will be useful for the vault mission. Another warning section advises using the Magnum in dense enemy areas, specifically mentioning Mission 4, where enemies will continuously appear. It recommends using the Magnum at stairs and doorways when enemies gather, as its bullets can penetrate and take out multiple enemies at once. The page also displays a map section for the G5 building 3rd floor, marking location 5 and a gun icon, along with warning 5 on the map. Screenshots of the game environment are also included. The next page continues the guide for Perfect Dark Mission 32 G5 building, now focusing on the 2nd floor capture. Objective 4 is Acquire Personality Backup, located in the vault. Players are instructed to use a door coder to access it. Once set, enemies will appear. It is advised to eliminate them quickly and escape after obtaining the backup data. Warning 6 is about Cassandra's statue, which is near Dr. Carroll's personality backup. The text mentions a statue with Cassandra's face, and that its purpose is unknown, but it can be destroyed by shooting it with a gun. The page includes a map section for the G5 building 2nd floor, marking location 4 and warning 6 and warning 7 on the map. Screen. Screenshots show the door coder being set and Cassandra's statue in the game. The map icon section at the bottom defines the stair icon and the shield icon. This page continues the Perfect Dark Mission 32 G5 building capture guide and focuses on Objective 5, escape from the building. It advises using remote bombs placed in the previous mission to detonate while waiting for the door coder in the vault room, cautioning players to avoid the exploded floor when escaping. Warning 7 highlights the usefulness of sensor bombs. If you have N-bombs, it's recommended to equip sensor bombs as your second weapon before entering the vault. Placing them near the vault door, stairs, and nearby corridors reduces the risk while waiting for the door coder. The page also details 2 cheats. The clear cheat is called Tiny Joanna, unlocked by clearing the mission. It makes Joanna small, doll-sized, giving a Gulliver and Agent World feeling. The time attack cheat is called Tuck Cheat for the spy clock level with a time limit of 1 minute 40 seconds. The strategy involves using the CMP-150's lock-on, defeating enemies with spy clock, using CamSpy in the meeting room and vault, setting the door coder, and then using CamSpy again. To optimize time, you should stop the movie with CamSpy as soon as the door open message appears to avoid unnecessary waiting for the door to fully open. This page details Mission 41, Area 51 Breakthrough from Perfect Dark. It describes this mission as having intense battles and numerous puzzles, marking it as the prologue of challenging situations. The page presents a map of the Area 51 gate vicinity and lists mission objectives for Agent, Advanced Agent, and Perfect Agent difficulty levels. The objectives are 1. Destroy the radar system. 2. Set up a communication link. 3. Destroy the anti-aircraft robots. 4. Infiltrate the storage area. 5. Rendezvous with a spy ally. A Warning 1 section advises players to not operate the machine. It highlights that at the starting point, one enemy is positioned in a wide area at the back of the plaza towards a machine. It warns that leaving the machine unattended will cause it to activate, so players should defeat the enemy in front of the machine before it gets activated. This page continues the walkthrough for Mission 41, Area 51, Breakthrough in Perfect Dark. Warning Section 2 advises using hand grenades to destroy machine guns, noting they can be destroyed in one shot if thrown accurately, cautioning players about throwing distance. Warning Section 3, Gate passage is prohibited, warns against opening and entering gates at the watchtower, as doing so will lead to machine gun fire, and suggests using a side route for safety. Warning Section 4, How to obtain the R launcher, explains that R launchers are located near the helipad and are buried in landmines. It recommends throwing hand grenades to detonate the mines in advance for safe retrieval of the R launcher. Warning Section 5, Elevator Keyman, describes an anti-aircraft robot in the main gate area, accompanied by an enemy in brown clothing holding the elevator key. It suggests disarming the enemy to get the key, and mentions that destroying the robot will cause an explosion. Players are advised to proceed with missions 2 and 3 first, as this man will not be present if those are completed. Finally, Warning Section 6, Enemy at the Watchtower, details that starting from the initial point and destroying 3 machine guns will lead to enemies appearing in a plaza from the watchtower. Players are advised to shoot enemies by showing only half of their body from cover, noting a switch on top of the tower to open the main gate. The page features screenshots illustrating each of these warnings in gameplay. The next page continues, the Perfect Dark Mission 41 Area 51 Breakthrough Walkthrough. This section titled, Area 51 Gate Vicinity. The primary objective highlighted is, destroy the radar system. The guide advises players to set explosives on the computer in the radar room, and to escape quickly after detonation. It warns that laser grids will activate upon explosion, potentially blocking the exit, so players need to time their escape to avoid the lasers. The page includes maps of the area, showing locations marked with numbers and letters like 1, 3, 4, E1, E2, A, and B, along with icons for elevators, shields, and unmanned machine guns. 2 screenshots are shown, possibly illustrating the radar room or laser grid system in the game. The map icons are explained at the bottom. E for elevator, S for shield, and a telescope icon for unmanned machine gun. This page continues the Perfect Dark Mission 41 Area 51 Breakthrough Walkthrough, now focusing on the Area 51 Parabola Antenna section. The primary objective is to set the communication link. The guide instructs players to locate a tunnel near a watchtower where a machine gun is present. If grenades are unavailable, players are advised to use weapons to destroy the antenna's base. After pressing a switch to lower the antenna, the communication link should be set. The page features a map of the Area 51 Parabola Antenna area, marked with points of interest numbered 2, 3, 7, and 8, along with letters B. Icons on the map indicate switches, weapons, and door locks. There are also warning signs numbered 7 and 8. The bottom of the page provides a legend for the icons shown, identifying them as switch, weapon, and door lock. A screenshot on the page shows a first-person view within a dimly lit outdoor area with some structures in the distance. This page details more of the Area 51 breakthrough mission in Perfect Dark, focusing on destroying anti-air interception robots. The guide indicates that there are 2 robots in the hangar next to the antenna and 1 inside the main gate. Destroying all 3 completes the objective. Be aware that if you complete a previous objective first, robots will emerge from the main gate and attack from the sky. Warning Section 7, Double Mag Sec 4, advises that setting up the communication link will open a door under the machine gun nest, releasing enemies. One of these enemies will have a MagSec 4 weapon, so be prepared to take it. Warning Section 8, Moving with hoverbike is easy, mentions that a hoverbike is available in the anti-air robot hangar. While fast, it can't pass through heliports, so opening the main gate will be necessary. The page also presents 2 cheat codes: Enemy Small, which makes enemies smaller when the mission is cleared, and Hotshot for time attack mode, set at the advanced level with a time limit of 5 minutes and 00 seconds. Finally, map icons are listed as elevator and door lock. This page continues the walkthrough for Mission 41, Area 51 Breakthrough, in Perfect Dark. It focuses on the hangar area, showing maps for both the upper and lower levels. Objective 4 is to enter the hangar area, instructing players to use the elevator key on either of the 2 elevators. It advises taking the right elevator, defeating enemies there, grabbing a dragon weapon, and then entering the hangar. It also suggests using grenades in the elevator to make things easier and safer. Objective 5 is join up with the Allied spy, where players need to rendezvous with Jonathan at Location 5. The guide warns that enemies equipped with dragon weapons are waiting, so players should proceed cautiously, moving from cover to cover. This page details Mission 42, Area 51 Rescue in Perfect Dark, and focuses on the warehouse area. The mission objectives are listed as: destroy the database, check the freezer capsules, put on a uniform, acquire the medical experiment room card key, and rescue accident survivors. There are 2 warnings highlighted. Warning 1 is about containers being enemies. It advises using container bombs, provided by Jonathan, to breach walls to enter the research base. It cautions that containers are easily explosive, and to clear enemies in the warehouse area before moving them. Warning 2 is about acquiring the double Falcon weapon. This states that a Falcon weapon is hidden among containers at the starting point. Players are instructed to destroy oil drums, as shown in the picture, to create an opening and then slide into the space to get the weapon. The page also includes a map of the warehouse area, indicating the start point, container placements, elevator location marked E1, a weapon icon, and a shield icon. The map highlights warning locations numbered 1 and 2. The map icons are defined as elevator, weapon, and shield. The next page continues the guide for Mission 42, Area 51 Rescue. Now focusing on the warehouse upper level area. Warning 3 details how to acquire the Phoenix weapon, explaining that an enemy carrying an elevator key appears near the Sky Strike robot area, referencing back to Mission 41. Defeating this enemy and clearing Mission 41 will open a specific door on the map, leading to the elevator where the Phoenix weapon is located at the top. Warning 4 highlights using the elevator to your advantage against enemies. It suggests that if enemies board the 2 elevators within the warehouse area, it's a perfect chance to easily defeat them by targeting the elevator entrance as they enter. The page also includes a map section showing elevators E1 and E2, with the locations of warnings 3 and 4 indicated. Screenshots illustrate the described scenarios for obtaining the Phoenix and fighting enemies on the elevator. This page continues the guide for Mission 42, Area 51 Rescue. Now focusing on the research lab area. The main objective for this section is to destroy the database, which is located within this area. Warning 5 instructs players to find the wall with this mark. It explains that walls marked by Jonathan can be destroyed using various bombs such as Contenna bombs, Dragon sensor bombs, and Phoenix bombs. Warning 6 discusses Agent Mode Disguise. In Agent Mode, destroying walls within the research base will grant the player a uniform. This allows progression to the next mission, while minimizing combat and making it significantly easier. The page includes a map section of the research lab area, with marked points labeled 1, 2, 5, and 6. Icons on the map indicate elevators, door locks, and unmanned machine guns. 2 screenshots are shown. The first depicts the player character seemingly planting a bomb in a server room, with text confirming, "Computer research record destruction complete." The second screenshot displays a similar server room environment, possibly after the database destruction has occurred. This page continues the Mission 42 Area 51 Rescue Guide, giving advice on gameplay mechanics and cheats. It warns that automatic machine guns in certain rooms are dangerous, but can be disabled by planting a virus on the room's computer. It highlights the tranquilizer gun as a powerful, one-shot kill weapon against research scientists, though requiring accurate aiming. The X-Scan item is featured, allowing players to see through closed doors to scout rooms and prepare for enemies. Mission Objective 2 is check the frozen capsule. The guide explains that the capsule contains Mayan remains from a crashed UFO and is located in a specific room. To complete this objective, players should enter the room, press a switch on the left to raise the capsule, and then scan it with the X-Scan. The page details 2 cheats, the X-Scan cheat and the Elvis Playtime Attack cheat. The X-Scan cheat is unlocked after clearing the mission and allows players to see enemies through walls and doors. The Elvis Playtime Attack cheat is for the Perfect Agent difficulty level, with a time limit of 7 minutes and 59 seconds. This cheat focuses on speedrunning using container bombs to destroy marked walls, rushing to Warning 5 location, proceeding left to complete Mission 1, collecting an S-Dragon sensor bomb, and acquiring a uniform in the shower room. It notes that previously defeated enemies will respawn in the medical experiment room, becoming more challenging, and advises players to defeat enemies quickly. The next page continues the Perfect Dark Mission Clear Guide, specifically for Mission 42 Area 51 Rescue. It features maps for 2 areas, the storage area and the shower room. Objective number 3 is highlighted, which is to wear a uniform. The text explains that there's only one enemy in the shower room itself, and uniforms are randomly located within lockers. Players will need to open each locker one by one to find a uniform. The maps also use lettered markers and door lock icons to indicate points of interest. This objective of getting a uniform in the shower room seems connected to the Elvis Playtime Attack cheat detailed on the previous page, where obtaining a uniform in this room was a specific step. This page continues the Perfect Dark Mission Clear Guide for Mission 42 Area 51 Rescue. It details Objectives 4 and 5, focusing on the medical experiment labs. Objective 4 is about obtaining a card key in Medical Experiment Lab 1. The guide advises clearing out hallway enemies beforehand to make things easier. Players should be ready for combat when opening the door to Lab 1, as security guards will become aware and trigger an alert timer, emphasizing the need to be quick. Objective 5 covers rescuing accident survivors in Medical Experiment Lab 2. This is presented as a time-sensitive objective. The enemy group encountered initially includes the key holder, and it's crucial to defeat them quickly to avoid confusion with later enemy reinforcements. This page details the Perfect Dark Mission 43, titled Area 51 Escape. The mission objectives are to find the automatic surgical equipment, rendezvous with Jonathan, invade the secret hangar, awaken Man, and finally escape from Area 51. There are 3 warning sections providing gameplay tips. The first warning advises about starting in a gas-filled environment and suggests using the Falcon telescopic rifle. The second warning explains that doors might not open directly when carrying McGuigan, and recommends approaching doors with a sidestep. The third warning suggests hiding McGuigan in a safe location during combat, and reloading weapons in safe zones to avoid accidentally dropping McGuigan during battles. The page also includes a map of the research area, with icons indicating the locations of weapons, shields, and door locks. The next page continues detailing Perfect Dark Mission 43, Area 51 Escape. It focuses on the first objective: find the automatic surgical equipment. The page shows a map divided into 2 areas: the Promenade Bridge and the Warehouse area, marked with points A and B. Objective 1 is explained, stating that in the room ahead, there is a glass-covered switch. To activate it, players should use an oil drum to blow up the glass. Alternatively, the G-launcher can be used to break the glass. After that, players should obtain the automope from inside the nearby door. This page continues the Perfect Dark Mission 43 Area 51 Escape Guide, focusing on the warehouse area. Objective 2 is to join up with Jonathan for AD and PF modes. After leaving the auto-op room and going down a long corridor, then right at a fork, Jonathan will be waiting. Players should join up with him and guard him while moving. Warning 3 is about shield recovery. In modes other than Perfect, a shield is located in the auto-op room. If players have taken damage, they should recover here. Warning 4 is about Agent Mode Join Up. In Agent Mode, Jonathan is waiting in an easy-to-find place. To achieve time attack cheats, players should remember the location and join up with him. The page includes a map of the warehouse area, with markers for objectives and items, along with icon legends for door locks, weapons, and shields. Screenshots are also shown to illustrate the objectives and warnings. This page continues the Perfect Dark Mission 43 Area 51 Escape Guide, and now focuses on entering the secret warehouse. Objective 3 explains that players need to go with Jonathan to a marked location, where he will blow up a wall to access the warehouse. During the bomb setup, enemies will attack from 2 directions, requiring players to protect Jonathan while fighting them off. Warning 5 is about getting remote bombs. Again, it states that if McKeon is hidden safely in a warehouse within the first 36 seconds of the mission, remote bombs will appear at location W5. These are recommended to be picked up for later use. Warning 6 advises players to wipe out enemies using remote bombs, or the S-Dragon's G-launcher, while Jonathan is setting up the bomb. It points out that upon returning to this area after joining up with Jonathan, a large group of enemies will be waiting. Using the G-launcher or remote bombs, especially placing them strategically beforehand at enemy concentration points, is recommended. The page also features a map section of the walkway bridge area, highlighting locations marked B and C, and indicating the positions related to warnings 5 and 6, and Objective 3. Screenshots are included to visually illustrate the objectives and warnings discussed. This page continues the Perfect Dark Guide in the secret warehouse area. Objective 4 is titled, Awaken Makian. It instructs players to enter the secret warehouse, and in Room 4, use the auto-opener on Makian to complete the mission objective. Once the opener is activated, players should prepare their weapons for attacking enemies. The warning on this page is, do not kill Jonathan. It explains that while players are using the auto-opener on Makian, Jonathan is at risk of being attacked. Once the operation is complete, players should immediately return to Jonathan to reduce this danger. The page features screenshots depicting McKeon's ship inside the warehouse while the auto-opener is being used, and another showing Jonathan under attack. The map section continues to show the area, highlighting locations marked 4, 5, and C. Mission 43. Area 51, Escape, involves escaping after a conversation with Jonathan and Elvis. The objective is completed by opening the hatch, with a slightly different cinematic depending on who opens it. Key warnings include enemy attacks during the conversation from a destroyed wall and overhead passage. Waiting at the hatch console before the conversation ends ensures a quick mission completion. If Jonathan is allowed to escape on a hoverbike, it triggers enemy attacks. Completing the mission unlocks the Clear Cheat, S-Dragon, a powerful weapon. A time attack cheat, Invincible Mode, with a time limit is also available. Best strategy for time attack involves helping Jonathan, and then quickly reaching the hatch console. The Dragon weapon is recommended for defeating enemies. Mission 51, Alaska Air Base, Disguise, requires infiltration of Air Force One by disguising as a stewardess and concealing weapons. The mission progresses through 5 steps: disguise, equipment loading, disabling the luggage inspection system, obtaining the flight plan, and boarding the plane. Success hinges on stealth. Avoid triggering alarms by eliminating guards silently, especially near the entrance, using Dr. Spy. The stewardess disguise is obtained by defeating stewardesses in the outdoor tunnel. Weapons must be concealed. Loading equipment involves placing attaché cases on the conveyor belt after eliminating guards with Dr. Spy. Using a crossbow is advised for silent takedowns, particularly for guards near the warehouse, and can yield rewards. Completing these steps facilitates subsequent mission objectives. This page details Mission 51 of Perfect Dark, Alaska Air Base Disguise. The map shown is for the air base and outlines key locations and objectives. Objective 2. Get the attaché case. Instructs players to enter the building from the starting point and take the elevator on the right. Upstairs, there are 2 air traffic controllers to subdue. The attaché case needed for mission progression is located at the back of this room. Objective 3. Get the sensor bomb. Explains that the sensor bomb is located at the end of the outdoor tunnel. Players should pick it up and place it near the escalator inside the building. Doing this will reduce the number of enemies encountered after completing Mission 3. The page also highlights marked locations on the map and warnings related to these objectives. The next page continues the walkthrough for Mission 51 of Perfect Dark, Alaska Air Base, Disguise. This section focuses on Objective 3, disable the baggage inspection system, and Objective 4, which is to dash through the baggage inspection system. Objective 3 instructs you to shut down the system after arriving at the location where 2 men are waiting. It advises to dash while in disguise mode, disable the system, and then take weapons from the guard holding them. A screenshot depicts this scene. Objective 4 warns that if you place the attaché case on the conveyor belt, you will need to dash from that point. The time limit is very short, and guards in black clothing will appear by the escalator on the way. It recommends ignoring them and prioritizing speed. The page shows map sections of the airbase, including the ground floor and the second floor. Map icons for door locks, switches, and elevators are also displayed for reference. This page continues the walkthrough for Mission 51 of Perfect Dark, Alaska Air Base Disguise. Objective 4, Get the Flight Plan, details how to retrieve the plans from a room where Air Force One's scheduled route is stored. Trent's men are guarding this, and you need to quickly eliminate the enemies and collect the flight plan. To enter the room, you can use a sensor bomb to break the glass of the adjacent door. Objective 5, Double Magnum, warns about an enemy near the baggage inspection system who possesses a magnum. It's advised to defeat this enemy before they spot you. Using standard weapons for combat is recommended, and it's suggested to take down this enemy before facing Dr. Straw, mentioned previously in Mission 2. A warning section at the bottom notes that upon completing Objective 3, airport personnel will leave, leaving only Trent's subordinates. Weapons dropped by airport security can be collected during combat. The page also displays map sections of the airport-related area, showing ground and possibly second-floor layouts, and icons indicating door locks, switches, elevators, and objective markers. Screenshots are included to illustrate the described scenarios within the game. This page details the storage area section of Mission 51, Alaska Air Base Disguise, in Perfect Dark. The page highlights 2 key warnings. Firstly, it advises that when facing enemies near Air Force One, the K-7 Avenger weapon is highly effective, especially against tougher enemies. However, it cautions about the limited ammunition and recommends aiming carefully. It also notes that the Dragon weapon is less effective, while the F-2 enemies are strong. Secondly, the page describes a laser grid obstacle. It explains that the laser grid device at location 6 needs to be destroyed. Once destroyed, the player can pass through. However, during this process, numerous enemies will attack, so it's recommended to eliminate these enemies first before destroying the laser grid. The page includes a map of the storage area, with markers indicating locations 5 and 6, elevators marked as E, and a point marked C. Icons at the bottom define stairs and elevators on the map. Screenshots are included to visually represent these gameplay scenarios. This walkthrough details Objective 5 of Perfect Dark's Alaska Air Base disguise mission, boarding the president's private jet. The safest approach involves acquiring the flight plan, taking the elevator to the lowest floor, and navigating a shaft to reach the plane. The page also covers 2 cheat modes. The clear cheat, unlocked by completing the mission, reveals enemies modeled after the game's developers. The time attack cheat provides unlimited ammo and no reload. To optimize time, trigger the alarm, fight 3 enemies for a stewardess uniform, collect the attaché case, and use the elevator strategically. The walkthrough emphasizes speed, suggesting a quick route to the 3rd floor elevator, then the lowest floor, to reach the jet within the advanced level's 3-minute, 11-second time limit. This page details Mission 52 of Perfect Dark, titled Presidential Dedicated Machine Exposure. The mission objective is to uncover a conspiracy and protect the president, who has been captured. The mission objectives are listed as 1. Collect equipment. 2. Find the president. 3. Guide the president to the escape pod. 4. Ensure the safety of the dedicated machine. And 5. Sever the enemy aircraft. There are warnings about equipment location. An attaché case is in the aircraft's basement block, accessible from the previous mission's starting point. Another warning mentions that if you lower the hoverbike's cargo here, it can be used in the next mission, which will be set in a snowfield. The final warning explains the starting point difference, indicating that if you boarded the presidential dedicated machine via the ladder in the previous mission, you start at point 1, otherwise at point 2. Full care. Agent-level players are advised to start at point 2. The page also includes a map section with icons for stairs, elevators, door locks, and cargo rooms. This page details Mission 52 of Perfect Dark, titled Presidential Dedicated Machine Exposure. Mission objective number 2 is to find the president. After retrieving your equipment, you can meet the president in room 2, but be warned not to leave the president while he is speaking, or security will be alerted and the mission will fail. There's a warning that advises against defeating the white-suited guards, as they will actually help you fight later on when Trent's subordinates appear. Warning number 3 instructs you to protect the president from stray bullets. After completing Objective 2, you should open the door to the president's room and engage the enemies, being careful to protect the president from stray bullets. The guide points out that the initial attack will pause, and this pause is your chance to escape. The page includes a map section showing the main deck and presidential dedicated deck areas, with various locations marked and labeled. The starting point is indicated at location E1 if you are starting at point 2. This page continues the guide for Perfect Dark Mission 52, Presidential Dedicated Machine Exposure. It features further gameplay warnings and tips, specifically, Warning 4 Double Cyclone and Warning 5 Boost Pile Usage. Warning 4 describes obtaining a card key after descending from the president's room, which opens a brown door. It advises using dual cyclone weapons and preparing for enemies. The accompanying screenshot shows the player wielding dual cyclones. Warning 5 is about using the boost pile room. It highlights that Trent and 2 blonde guards with powerful weapons are present. The guide suggests luring the president inside from the inner area and using the boost pile to create an advantageous position, then opening the door to defeat the blonde guards, while noting that Trent will escape. The screenshot shows a corridor which is likely the boost pile area. The page also displays a map section titled Main Deck, continuing the level layout from the previous page. Map icons are shown for elevators, shields, and door locks. The next page continues the walkthrough for Perfect Dark Mission 52, Presidential Dedicated Machine Exposure. It presents Warning 6. Be careful of enemies from behind, advising players to be cautious of endless enemy reinforcements appearing from the connecting passage after docking, even if previous rooms seem cleared, to avoid the president being attacked from behind. Another warning, use the seats as shields, suggests utilizing any object as cover if surrounded by enemies. highlighting seats in Trent's room as good shields, and mentioning doors and walls can also provide protection depending on the angle. Finally, point 3. Guide the president to the escape pod, details the final objective. Open the hatch at the marked location, descend to the underground block, and the escape pod will be directly ahead. It warns that any delay from Joanna in descending could leave the president vulnerable to enemy attacks above. The page also includes a map section labeling the escape pod area as point 3 and marking another location A, along with E2 and 081 on the map. The map also labels an area as cargo room. This page continues the Perfect Dark walkthrough, focusing on the presidential deck and Objective 4. Secure the safety of the dedicated machine. It explains that in Mission 5, you need to use timed bombs to destroy connections. Otherwise, the dedicated machine's pilot will be defeated. You must quickly move to the cockpit and activate the autopilot device. There's also a warning safe route section, which advises that after completing Mission 3, you should go directly through the underground block and use the cargo elevator from the room in front of the bike. This is presented as a safer route to avoid unnecessary battles and reduce risks. The page also features a map highlighting a door lock icon. The next page continues the walkthrough for Perfect Dark. Specifically, Mission 52, Presidential Dedicated Machine Exposure. This page provides guidance on using doors strategically in combat, suggesting weapons like the K7 Avenger or laptop gun, and using door closures for reloading. It warns about enemies continuously appearing from the connecting passage and recommends using timed bombs to block their entrance and prevent them from boarding the dedicated machine. The main objective is to sever the enemy aircraft, again using timed bombs on the main deck to achieve this and progress to Mission 4. It emphasizes sticking to the planned procedure, as moving the president to the dedicated machine is risky. The page also details Clear Cheat, which unlocks the laptop gun after mission completion, and a Time Attack cheat, which for a perfect agent level under 3 minutes 55 seconds, unlocks the laptop top automatic gun with unlimited ammo. The laptop gun is described as a reliable weapon with high killing power and rapid fire, effective for burst fire. For the Time Attack strategy, it suggests clearing Mission 51 from the ladder, collecting equipment, using the cargo elevator, and boarding the dedicated machine with the president. After docking with the enemy aircraft, prioritize setting timed bombs for Mission 5. It advises running to the cockpit, defeating enemies, and activating autopilot. Missions 5 and 4 can be done independently, focusing on protecting the president and reaching the escape pod. This page continues the walkthrough for Perfect Dark, covering Mission 53, titled Crash Site Confrontation. It outlines the mission objectives, which vary slightly depending on the difficulty level of Agent, Advanced, or Perfect. These objectives include retrieving the president's monitor, sending an SOS signal, destroying the source of a jamming signal, defeating the president's clone, and ultimately finding and rescuing the president. The guide also includes a warning tip about acquiring a sensor bomb. It advises that if you meet up with Elvis, who has crashed his UFO in the snowy field location shown on the map, before picking up items like the president's monitor, Elvis will give you a sensor bomb, which is recommended for use against strong enemies. The page also features a map of the mission area, with key locations marked and icons indicating the positions of weapons and shields. This page continues the walkthrough for Perfect Dark Mission 53, Crash Site Confrontation. Objective 1 is to retrieve the president's monitor, which is located in a white attaché case near the crashed airplane. There is a red device near the plane to help you find it. Objective 2 is to send an SOS signal from the president's escape pod crash site, which is located close to the starting point. Sending the signal will inform Carrington of your location. The page also includes a map showing the mission area with the start point, Objectives 1 and 2 marked, as well as the location of a hover bike and Point C. This page details the cave area upper level for Mission 53, Crash Site Confrontation, in Perfect Dark. It provides a map of the cave area and highlights 2 warning points. The first warning is for a one-way passage. It explains that the passages in the icy area become one-way due to ledges. It advises that enemies might suddenly appear from the battle, and to be careful not to get lost while moving around. The second warning is about snipers. It notes that enemies with rifles are hiding in the shadows and will attack from long range. They are wearing white camouflage, making them difficult to spot, and they frequently lie down to aim. It suggests using this rifle for counter-sniping and aiming for headshots. The map itself labels points D and E and areas marked with 2 and 3, which are likely points of interest or enemy locations within the cave area. There are also icons indicating automated gun emplacements at locations 2 and 3, and stairs are indicated by a different icon on the map legend. Mission 53, Crash Site Confrontation, involves navigating treacherous terrain and eliminating threats. Section 2 focuses on finding Joanna Dark to avoid machine gun fire near Objective 3. The K7 Avengers Danger Finder is recommended due to difficult visibility. Section 3 tasks the player with destroying the source of jamming radio waves, emitted by a flying object, using 2 remote control bombs. Caution is advised due to the powerful blast. A warning section within this part also details how to defeat patrol robots, suggesting careful passage, entering a cave, and using sensor bombs to eliminate them efficiently, but with consideration for nearby presence. Section 4's objective is to quietly defeat the president's clone, who is accompanied by Trent. If the player is spotted, blonde soldiers and strong defenses will appear. The next page of the guidebook shows a map for the cave area lower level of Mission 53 from Perfect Dark. Warning 4 on the map advises using bombs like remote or sensor bombs in the dark cave area, marked as Location 4, to weaken enemies before engaging in direct combat, as they are prone to counterattacking if approached directly. Warning 5, located at map point 5, highlights Trent's Magnum, a powerful weapon that guarantees defeating an opponent regardless of where they are hit. To acquire it, players should approach Trent from the dark cave where the clone president is located, disarm him from behind, and it is recommended to eliminate patrol robots in the area first. The map also displays icons for shields and stairs. Mission 5, Crash Site Showdown, in Perfect Dark, tasks players with rescuing the president. Defeat Trent upon encountering the president, then escort him to Elvis's UFO for mission completion. The warning advises tackling Mission 4 last for efficient enemy encounters. The guide details 2 cheats. Completing the mission unlocks Darkness Mode, setting all missions at night, increasing difficulty. The second cheat is Trent's Magnum Gun in Time Attack on Agent difficulty, achievable within 250. It involves a specific strategy, using a hoverbike to quickly complete prior missions and eliminate the clone before rescuing the president, while destroying patrol robots and not straying from the president to complete the time challenge. Using the hoverbike is emphasized to minimize travel time. The next page details Mission 61, named Pelagic 2 Intrusion in Perfect Dark. The mission setup involves a blonde man targeting the president, using Pelagic 2, and Sea-Jacks infiltrating a ship to stop the enemy's plans. The mission objectives are to cut off the mothership's main power, secure research data, disable GPS and automatic navigation, activate the moon pool lift, and submerge with Elvis. There are 2 warnings. 1, regarding enemies shooting through glass doors, advising players to take them out quickly with headshots before the glass breaks. The second warning emphasizes destroying surveillance cameras to prevent enemy reinforcements, as being spotted triggers them. The first task focuses on cutting off the main power. It guides players to an octagonal pillar in the room's upper level, noting red and green lamps visible via X-scanner. Players should turn off only the green lamp, then switch off a diagonally protruding power switch on the lower level to complete the task. Map icons for surveillance cameras, door locks, and weapons are shown at the bottom, along with screenshots of in-game environments. This page continues the guide for Perfect Dark Mission 61, Pelagic 2 Intrusion. It presents a map layout of Deck 2 and Deck 1 of the environment. There are 2 warnings highlighted on this page. The first warning advises players to be careful of alarms, stating that enemies will attempt to trigger them upon spotting Joanna. It recommends defeating enemies quickly before they can activate the alarm to avoid increased enemy presence. The second warning points out a double falcon enemy type in this area. It mentions that if you defeat this enemy without triggering the alarm, you can obtain another falcon weapon as a reward. The text AGADPF is also present, possibly indicating weapon types or upgrades related to the falcon. This page continues the walkthrough for Perfect Dark Mission 61, Pelagic 2 Intrusion, now focusing on Deck 3 of the area. The primary objective highlighted is to secure research data. The guide points out that there are 3 researchers in white coats within the indicated rooms. To obtain the data, you must knock out all of them. It's advised to be ready with a bare-handed grip attack before entering these rooms, as the researchers will attempt to flee immediately. The page also includes a warning about enemies potentially hiding behind containers, which are common in the narrow ship corridors. The advice given is not to directly engage enemies concealed by containers, but instead to shoot through the containers, using the explosive blast to defeat them. The map of Deck 3 shows locations of security cameras, door locks, and a shield. Screenshots illustrate the corridor environment and an enemy taking cover behind containers. This page continues the walkthrough for Mission 61 Pelagic 2, Intrusion. Now moving on to Deck 4. The main objective here is to disable the GSP and the automatic operation device. You are instructed to go to the highest level of the ship, lure the men near the machine side, and then turn off the devices. There's a warning specifically for Agent Mode, stating that Elvis will be found in the pool area in this mode, but in other modes, his location will be different, so be cautious. The page also displays map sections for Deck 4 and Deck 3 outside areas, along with screenshots showing the control panel area related to the GSP objective and the pool area mentioned in the Agent Mode warning. This page continues the walkthrough for Perfect Dark Mission 61 Pelagic 2 Intrusion, now focusing on the objective to activate the moon pool lift. The guide mentions that the activation switch for the lift is located in the same room as the starting point on the same floor, suggesting it should be dealt with early. It also advises players that if they can avoid triggering the alarm, enemies will not appear. The page provides map sections for Deck 4 outside and Deck 2, displaying key locations and icons for switches, shields, and security cameras within these areas. The next page continues the Perfect Dark walkthrough for Mission 61 Pelagic 2, Intrusion. This section details Objectives 3 and 5. Objective 3 involves meeting with Elvis and joining forces at the designated location marked on the map for agents and advanced agents. Objective 5 instructs players to submerge with Elvis. The page features maps for Deck Ground Floor, Deck First Floor, and Deck Lowest Floor, highlighting points of interest marked with letters like A, B, and E, and numbers like 1 and 3. There are cheat code details presented as well. The clear cheat unlocks all enemy R launcher and is obtained by clearing the mission. The description mentions that all enemies will appear with R launchers, making it a powerful cheat, but warns players to be careful of the strong impact and explosions. The time attack cheat unlocks unlimited ammo and is for advanced level players. The time limit to achieve this is 7 minutes and 7 seconds. The guide advises aiming for headshots through glass to defeat enemies with fewer bullets, and recommends prioritizing objectives in the order of 4, then 1, 2, and 3. It suggests entering the Mission 1 room from Deck 1 for safety, and defeating as many enemies as possible before joining Elvis to make the final dash more efficient. This page details Mission 62 Deep Sea Farewell for Perfect Dark. It mentions that since Mission 1, Dr. Carol has been kidnapped by the enemy, and this mission is to reunite with her, but the story is heading towards a sad ending. The mission objectives for different agent levels are listed. 1. Activate the teleporter. Quote, 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 seize the control room. 4. Rescue Dr. Carol. 5. Escape from the cetacean ship. There are 2 warning sections with gameplay advice. The first warning is about defeating invisible enemies, stating that many enemies in this map camouflage themselves with a spike cloak. It advises using the IR scanner to confirm their location and then using a double shot from the shotgun. The second warning is about acquiring remote bombs. It explains that after opening the 4th door, enemies with remote bombs will appear from the left side. It suggests that if you get hit by Elvis, you will drop the bombs, so it's better to defeat the enemies yourself beforehand. A map of Section 1 is shown with points labeled A and B, along with map icons for shield, door lock, and transporter agent. A start area is also marked on the map. This page continues with Mission 62, Deep Sea Farewell from Perfect Dark, presenting maps for Section 2 and Section 3 of the mission. Objective 1 is highlighted, instructing the player to activate the teleporter in Section 2 by defeating 3 enemies in the room. It is mentioned that Elvis will then activate the teleporter. A warning section explains that Green Lantern doors need to be opened to progress to the room for Mission 1, and these doors can be opened by shooting the green lanterns in the passage. Another warning addresses Elvis's teleportation, assuring the player that it's okay to move ahead of Elvis, as he will teleport to be next to the player after using the initial teleporter. The maps also include icons for transporters and weapons. This page continues the Perfect Dark Mission 62 Deep Sea Farewell Guide, now focusing on maps for Section 4 and Section 5. A Farsight usage warning explains that in Farsight's search mode, it functions like an X-ray scan, allowing you to see and shoot through walls and doors, significantly reducing danger when used effectively. Another warning discusses the green generator related to Mission 2, suggesting that shotgun fire is effective for destroying it quickly. For CMP 150 or Farsight, it's recommended to use double shots from a close to medium range to destroy it, as single shots may be insufficient. Objective 21 is highlighted, which is to obstruct the operation of the final weapon. It mentions that the mission approach and location will vary depending on the game mode. In Agent mode, while Elvis operates the panel, you need to defend and hold the position. It is suggested to use IR scanning and then defeat Skedar using CMP 150 lock-on. This page continues the Perfect Dark Mission 62 Deep Sea Farewell Guide, now focusing on Section 6, which is illustrated with a map diagram. Objective 22, obstruct the operation of the final weapon, is detailed, advising players to protect Elvis while he operates panels in advanced mode, emphasizing taking out Skedar enemies quickly and using CMP 150 lock-on. A warning section provides tips on defeating Skedar, recommending CMP 150 lock-on for effective takedowns. The page also introduces Clear Cheat, which is shield equipment, unlocked by clearing the mission, making shields available from the start, especially helpful in perfect mode. For Time Attack Cheat, Farsight, at perfect level, with a time limit of 7 minutes 27 seconds is presented. The Time Attack strategy emphasizes speed, advising against waiting for Elvis in Mission 1 and minimizing teleporter use in single player. It suggests quickly defeating Skedar and blonde soldiers and rushing through passages to improve time. 2 screenshots are included, one related to Objective 22 and another within the Time Attack Cheat section. And finally, a transporter, Perfect, icon is shown at the bottom. This page continues the walkthrough for Perfect Dark Mission 62, Deep Sea Farewell, now guiding players through Section 7. The mission Objective 23 is obstruct the operation of the final weapon. The page features a map diagram of Section 7, and below it, the walkthrough details this objective specifically for perfect mode, pointing out that the key is to destroy all the green generators. It mentions that besides the visible generators, there are also generators hidden behind walls with lights in this room. It advises using the Farsight to search and destroy them, confirming it's okay to shoot through. A warning box alerts players to automated turrets in the passages, which are set up on the ceilings of corridors and rooms until Objective 2 is achieved. Shotguns and CMP 150s are effective against them, but the Farsight can destroy them from a distance with a single shot. The map icon legend at the bottom highlights icons for unmanned machine guns and transporters for both agent and advanced difficulties. 2 screenshots are included, visually representing the gameplay in this section. This page continues the Perfect Dark Mission 62 walkthrough, titled Deep Sea Farewell, now focusing on Section 3. Objective 3 is Control Room Seizure, where the guide mentions there will be 2 Velvet Guard soldiers in the room, but Elvis will defeat them upon entering, so there's no need to worry. It advises players to be careful not to destroy the machinery by shooting. Objective 4 is Return to Dr. Carroll. The instructions explain how to use the backup data. Open the item menu using the Start button and left or right keys, select Dr. Carroll, and press the A button to confirm. Finally, Objective 5, Escape from the Satan ship, details that after the cutscene with Dr. Carroll, a countdown will begin. Players must return to the starting point within 60 seconds. The guide warns about spike rollers appearing on the way, and advises to ignore enemies and avoid them to save time and prevent time loss. The transporter for this part is marked for Perfect Agent difficulty. The page includes maps and screenshots illustrating these objectives. This page details Perfect Dark Mission 7, titled Carrington Institute Building Defense. The mission briefing explains that Joanna has been betrayed, and the Carrington Institute headquarters is under attack, leaving her in a precarious position. The mission objectives are listed for Agent, Advanced Agent, and Perfect Agent difficulty levels. They are: 1. Activate the automatic machine gun. 2. Rescue the hostage. 3. Retrieve the experimental weapon. 4. Dispose of important secrets. And 5. Prevent the explosion. The page features a map of the first floor of the Carrington Institute building, marking the starting point and icons for elevators and door locks. A warning box titled Whether to Defeat Skedar advises players about a Skedar enemy guarding a hostage near the start. It suggests defeating the Skedar if confident in combat, but postponing it to save time for a better mission rating if speed is a priority. An in-game screenshot likely illustrates this Skedar encounter. The map icon's legend at the bottom defines icons for elevator, door lock, and unmanned machine gun. This page continues the walkthrough for Mission 7 of Perfect Dark, Carrington Institute Building Defense. It highlights 1. Break the glass of the slope, as a warning, advising players that to save time, they should break the glass midway up the slope to easily reach the second automatic machine gun. The page then focuses on 1. Activate the automatic machine gun. It explains that activating the automatic machine guns in the order of 1 right-pointing arrow 2, right-pointing arrow 3 is the safest approach. The passage through the storage area is described as maze-like and dangerous due to frequent enemy encounters, making it a risky area if time is wasted. The text warns that lingering too long could lead to Carrington's demise and mission failure. The page shows a map section marked with numbers 1, 2, and 3, indicating the locations of switches to activate the automatic machine guns. Icons for shield and switch are also shown. The map section visually represents the first floor of the Carrington Institute and the path for activating the machine guns. This page continues the guide for Mission 7, Carrington Institute Building Defense, and details 2 further objectives. Objective 2, Rescue the Hostages, advises that in perfect mode, out of the 4 rooms containing hostages, failing to rescue at least 3 results in mission failure. It is recommended to prioritize rescuing hostages in the remaining 3 rooms, as rescuing the hostage in the learning room is difficult. After completing Task 1, you should aim to reach the shooting training range within the first 1 minute and 30 seconds. If you use Boost to arrive at the shooting training range, the probability of rescuing 2 hostages will be high. In Device Lab on the 2nd floor, it's recommended to defeat the enemies on the right side first. If you have Boost remaining, use the Info Room. Objective 3, Recover the experimental weapon, explains that after completing Task 2, you should return to the shooting training range and operate the machine. Doing so will allow you to retrieve the RCP-120 from the case. The RCP-120's explosive bullets are more powerful, and the spike clock in the second mode is essential for the final stages of the game. The page also includes a map of the first floor of the Carrington Institute building, marked with locations for Objective 2 and 3, and icons for elevators and door locks. Screenshots show in-game views related to these objectives. This page continues the guide for Mission 7, Carrington Institute Building Defense, and details further objectives and warnings on the 2nd floor. Objective 4 is to dispose of important secret documents, instructing players to use a laser at short range to burn through a silver hatch on the left side of a room and then destroy the item inside to complete the objective, while being cautious of enemies appearing at the entrance. A warning box highlights that if Jonathan and Elvis were rescued in Mission 43, Jonathan will appear to assist the player, which is especially beneficial in perfect mode. Another warning advises players to acquire the Devastator weapon, which is dropped after rescuing all hostages on the 2nd floor and defeating enemies in the info room, in addition to ammo, and is crucial for battles against blonde soldiers later in the game. The page also includes a map of the 2nd floor of the Carrington Institute building, indicating the location for Objective 4 and areas related to the warnings, along with screenshots illustrating in-game scenarios related to these objectives. This page continues the guide for Mission 7, Carrington Institute Building Defense, and presents a map of a floor within the Carrington Institute building, focusing on Carrington Association Building storage. The map is marked with numbered icons and letter A, indicating points of interest. A warning box highlights elevators as dangerous spots, particularly when enemies are present, advising caution when using them. Map icons for door lock and automatic machine gun are also displayed, likely indicating their locations on the map. This page continues the Mission 7 guide, titled Carrington Association Building Defense. Mission 5 is detailed, called Prevent Explosion. The objective is to stop a bomb-loaded airplane in the hangar from exploding within 2 minutes by using a data link, while facing enemy encounters. It's suggested to use the RCP-120 spike thrower to blind enemies. There are warnings about a large group of blonde soldiers in the slope area from the start. with black-suited enemies being stronger. It advises using a buster weapon to deal with them effectively. Another warning highlights that after completing Mission 5, enemies become more aggressive, and automatic machine guns are nearby. Players are advised to move quickly to the shuttle while armed to clear the mission. The page also reveals Clear Cheat, which is Shield Equipment, Enemy, and is unlocked by clearing the mission. For Time Attack Cheat, there's Super Shield for Agent Difficulty, with a time limit of 1 minute 45 seconds. The time attack strategy involves using the training room, elevator, and aiming for the shooting range after defeating enemies. This page details Mission 8 of Perfect Dark, titled Skedar Spacecraft Control. The mission objective is that Joanna, captured within the Skedar spacecraft, must escape with the help of Elvis, despite limited weaponry and strong enemies. The page outlines 5 main mission objectives for all difficulty levels. Destroy the space shield control device, open the hangar hatch, access the navigation system, destroy the power system, and control the main bridge. A map section for Control Room 1 is shown, marked with start, elevator, and door lock icons, and a Warning 1 point. Warning 1 is about a keepsake necklace related to Cassandra and the enemy Mauler, suggesting a perfect mode strategy is involved to retrieve it. Objective 1 specifically requires destroying 3 machines within the control room. It warns that weapons are scarce, advising players to use cover tactics against Skedar enemies, and highlights that running out of ammo will result in mission failure. A gameplay screenshot is provided, and the inventory lists items such as Bare Hands, the Falcon 2, Mauler, and the necklace. Map icons for elevator and door locks are also presented. This page continues the guide for Mission 8 of Perfect Dark, Skedar Spacecraft Control, focusing on the hangar. The page details 2 key warnings. Warning 2, Elvis's location, explains that in Agent and Perfect Agent modes, players can meet Elvis at the initial elevator location after defeating 2 Skedar enemies. Warning, Mayon's Help, describes that in the hangar, 2 Mayan characters will assist. It advises players to let them handle Skedar retreats, collect dropped ammo, and retrieve the Karist N weapon if the Macarian are defeated. The page includes a map of the hangar area, marked with labels E1 through E4, and another map section titled Control Room 2, marked with a 2. Objective 2 is Open the Hangar Hatch. The guide specifies that in Perfect Agent mode, after completing the mission objectives and meeting Elvis, players can open the hangar hatch by activating the machine located on the left side of the depicted room. A screenshot confirms hangar hatch opened. This page of the Perfect Dark Guide continues Mission 8 Skedar Spacecraft Control, now focusing on the main deck. The page highlights several key warnings. Warning 3 is about Skedar from capsules, explaining that Skedar will appear from capsules in this room, and a battle will occur in a narrow location. It advises to defeat the enemies quickly before using the elevator. Warning 4, Slayer or Not, discusses the presence of a powerful Slayer weapon, specifically a rocket camera, in the green capsule room, but suggests it may not be worth taking due to the numerous Skedar enemies in the vicinity. Another, Mystery Window? Warning points out that in several locations on the ship, windows can be opened using the B button to escape into space, questioning why they are opening by themselves. Objective 3 on this page is to access the navigation system. The guide states that upon entering this room with Elvis, players should operate the system to get necessary information. It also advises defeating the 2 Skedar enemies beforehand, as Skedar will attack from behind walls during combat in this room. The page also features a map of the main deck area, and a map icon legend defining symbols for elevator, shield, and door lock. This page of the Perfect Dark Guide continues. Mission 8, Skedar Spacecraft Control, now in the power room. Objective 4 is to destroy the power system. The guide explains that upon reaching this room on the upper levels of the ship, players will encounter Skedar enemies guarding it. While the Skedar themselves are not particularly dangerous, destroying both brown parts in the room will cause a large and instant explosion. Players are advised to shoot and then quickly retreat to avoid being caught in the blast. The page includes a map of the power room with points of interest marked A, B, C, D, and AG, along with screenshots depicting the power system explosion. This page continues the Perfect Dark Guide, focusing on Mission 8, Skedar Spacecraft Control. It highlights 2 warnings. Using the Mauler's charge attack, which is very powerful and can defeat Skedar enemies in one shot, making it a useful main weapon, but ammo is limited. And destroying bright lights in the ship's rooms to ease eye strain, although this is not essential to progress. The page also details cheat codes. The clear cheat, named Phoenix, is unlocked by clearing the mission and provides access to the Mayan weapon. This weapon can fire both normal and explosive shells, is easy to use to defeat enemies, and can even create holes in walls. The time attack cheat, named Irian, set on the advanced level with a 5-minute 17-second time limit, describes a speedrun strategy. This involves prioritizing Mission 1 objectives to destroy the space shield control device, avoiding unnecessary fights with Skidar, quickly taking elevators, collecting the Mauler and ammunition in the hangar area, then moving swiftly through subsequent missions. The strategy details using the Mauler charge attack to complete Mission 4 in the final room by aiming from a higher position. Finally, the page displays map icons indicating elevators, door locks, and weapon locations within the level. This page continues the Perfect Dark Guide, focusing on the main bridge section of Mission 8, Skidar Spacecraft Control. It highlights a warning about a double Mauler. In the final room of this section, you can obtain the Mauler weapon from a Skidar located on a central platform. The guide emphasizes that the Mauler is an essential weapon for overcoming the large battles that follow. The objective for this section, marked as 5, Main Bridge Subdue It, is to control the main bridge. The strategy involves first defeating 3 pillars, after which Elbis enemies will appear. Subsequently, Skidar enemies will appear near the elevator hall wall. While the Mauler's charge attack is effective, its slow rate of fire suggests that using double weapons might be preferable in this situation. The page also includes a map of the main bridge area, marked with the number 5. This map shows the layout of the area, and includes a gun icon at location 5, likely indicating the Mauler weapon pickup location mentioned in the warning. There is also a marker E6 at the bottom of the map, suggesting an elevator leading to Area 6. Screenshots depict gameplay within the main bridge area, including encounters with Skidar enemies. This page details Mission 9 of Perfect Dark, titled Skedar's Shrine, Decisive Battle. The page lists the mission objectives for Agent, Advanced Agent, and Perfect Agent difficulty levels. For all difficulty levels, the first objective is 1. Attach the electronic marker. For Agent, Advanced Agent, and Perfect Agent, Objective 2 is Activate the bridge. For Agent, Advanced Agent, and Perfect Agent, Objective 3 is Enter the sanctified area of the shrine. For Perfect Agent only, Objective 4 is Defeat all elite soldiers. For Agent, Advanced Agent, and Perfect Agent, Objective 5 is Defeat Skidar King. The page includes a section called Skidar's Weak Point, which advises players that long-range combat is advantageous, especially in F2 formation. It mentions that there are many long corridors. The strategy is to aim for the head and, once locked on, use backsteps while firing continuously. It claims that if you hit the head consistently, you can defeat them in about 8 shots. A map of Skedar's Shrine is also displayed, with markers numbered 1 indicating locations within the level. Objective 1 is further explained as needing to place markers on 3 out of 5 obelisks scattered around the area, which are randomized each playthrough. It suggests using the R tracker to confirm the locations. The page also features a small in-game screenshot showing gameplay within the Skidar Shrine, depicting the objective marker, electronic marker installation OK. The next page continues the guide for Mission 9 of Perfect Dark, Skedar's Shrine, Decisive Battle. It features a map of the Skidar Shrine level with points labeled A, B, and 1. There are also warning boxes. One warning box is titled Grinder de Kizuru, which translates to Shredded by Grinder. It advises that the Reaper is easy to use for revolving saws and is surprisingly powerful as a second weapon mode grinder. It is useful for emergency escapes when surrounded by enemies. Another warning box titled 1 Hashigo Kara Sogeki, which translates to 1 Sniping. Sniping from the ladder mentions that after completing Mission 1, you will be sniping Skidar 2 from below at this location, which is marked with a 1. It notes that if you climb down the ladder, you will be easily targeted by enemy fire, so it is disadvantageous. The map shows the layout of the Skidar Shrine level, with different textured areas indicating different parts of the environment. The next page continues the walkthrough for Mission 9, Skedar's Shrine, Decisive Battle, in Perfect Dark. It showcases a map of the sacred area of the shrine, marked with points of interest, and warning boxes numbered 2, 3, and 4. Warning 2 advises players to blow away the rock. In Perfect Mode, the Devastator weapon should be used to destroy rocks blocking the path. It suggests using the ladder to get above the rocks and attack. Warning 3 is about how to identify breakable walls. After crossing a valley, players should approach a certain point to inspect the wall. Using the IR scanner will allow players to see through it and destroy it using the Devastator or Phoenix weapons. Be aware that Skidar enemies will appear nearby after destroying the wall. Another section labeled 3 details how to enter the sacred area of the shrine. It explains that after defeating 2 Skidar using the Slayer weapon, players need to raise their weapon at the altar in order to open the door above. Regular weapons like bullets won't work. Passing through this door will complete the mission. Finally, Warning 4, titled Double Phoenix, explains that after completing Mission 1, and if the obelisk in Mayan airspace is destroyed, players must then destroy any remaining unmarked obelisks with the Devastator. Following this, 2 Phoenix enemies will appear at the location marked on the map. This page continues the walkthrough for Mission 9, Skidar's Shrine, Decisive Battle, in Perfect Dark. Section 2, titled Activate the Bridge, explains that in this room, you need to push the beige-colored object to the point marked, which will activate a bridge to the shrine. It also warns that the jammer enemies will turn invisible, so it's best to defeat them first. The page includes a map section and a screenshot showing the bridge in the game. Section 5, under a warning heading, Skidar also above the altar, warns about Skidar enemies above the altar, specifically on a transparent passage leading to the sanctuary. It mentions that enemies are hiding in this dark passage and are difficult to see, advising players to proceed with caution and be ready to defeat them. There is also a screenshot showing a dark passage with glowing lights, presumably the transparent passage mentioned. This page continues the Perfect Dark Mission 9 walkthrough, focusing on Objective 4, Defeat all elite warriors. The text explains that, in this room, there are 7 pods containing Skadar elite warriors. It suggests defeating them quickly before they fully awaken, though defeating all of them might be difficult. Reducing their numbers beforehand is still beneficial. A warning box advises players to retrieve the Mauler weapon. It explains that after defeating the elite warriors in the pods, open the pods and collect the Maulers and ammunition, as this is necessary for Mission 4 completion. The page also shows a map section labeled Skedar King's Room, with areas marked 4 and 5, along with numbered arrows, and a section on map icons. To defeat the Skedar King in Perfect Dark's Skedar Shrine mission, focus on memorizing his attack patterns. Initially, attack him normally. When his shield turns black, exposing a 5-pointed symbol on his back, use weapons like the Devastator or Slayer to break the shield. Then, target the symbol's corners in numerical order, 1 to 5, with rapid-fire weapons to defeat him. Avoid the back door to prevent explosions. Defeat the king first when he summons allies for ammo replenishment. Completing all missions unlocks the R-Tracker secret weapon display cheat, revealing hidden weapons. Clearing all missions in all modes unlocks a special mode. Another cheat, All Weapons, Solo, is for a time attack requiring a perfect level, clear and specific actions in earlier missions. This time attack cheat provides listed weapons and options for the challenge. This page is a guide for the Mr. Blonde special mission in Perfect Dark. The mission has 3 objectives: setting a bomb on the elevator, defeating the bodyguard leader, and escorting Cassandra. And it's available on Agent, Advanced Agent, and Perfect difficulties. To unlock this mission, you must clear all missions on the Agent difficulty level. Mission 1, playable on Agent and Perfect, focuses on setting a bomb on the elevator that leads to the basement, which was used in Mission 11. The guide advises using a Skidar bomb for this. However, players are warned about numerous female bodyguards guarding the path. A spy cloak warning suggests that even as Mr. Blonde, fighting this many enemies in human form is not ideal. It recommends obtaining the CMP-150 and ammo, located behind the reception desk, then using the spy cloak to reach the underground elevator without fighting, allowing players to complete the first objective without engaging in combat. The page also includes a map of the dataDyne headquarters' first floor, marking elevator locations, the starting point, and icons for surveillance cameras, door locks, and stairs. This page continues the guide for the Mr. Blonde special mission in Perfect Dark, showing maps for the 21st and 22nd floors of dataDyne headquarters. It details 3 mission objectives. The first objective, Elevator Hidden Place, advises hiding near the right elevator on the stairs. If no enemies are nearby, wait there for the elevator. It also suggests disarming the spy cams to leave them for later. The second objective, Bodyguard, instructs players on how to defeat the leader. If the elevator stops midway, lean against the door, equip the CMP-150, and wait. The leader will appear in the opposite elevator. Use lock-on to quickly defeat them. The final objective, Bomb Spy One-Shot Hit, warns that Skeetar bombs detonate quickly, so players should not waste time. It suggests sending bomb spies to places where enemies are concentrated, like stair landings. Defeating them all at once will reduce combat, and enemies will likely chase bomb spies, making it easier to defeat them in one go. This page details the 23rd floor of dataDyne headquarters for the Mr. Blonde special mission in Perfect Dark. It presents a map of the floor and outlines the third mission objective: transport Cassandra. To accomplish this, the guide instructs players to ascend from the 21st floor using the stairs to the 22nd floor. Then take the elevator to the 23rd. Once in Cassandra's office, players should immediately disarm and escort her to the rooftop, advising to stay close to her to avoid delays. A warning to soldiers section highlights that enemies will gather on the 23rd floor. It suggests using spy cams to defeat enemies and advises to disarm before proceeding. The page also includes a section on map icons, showing symbols for surveillance cameras, stairs, and door locks. A screenshot of the game menu is also visible, displaying weapon options like Mauler, Shotgun, F2, DY-357, and Bomb Spy. Two gameplay screenshots depict the player character in action on the stairs. This page continues the Mr. Blonde special mission in Perfect Dark, presenting maps for the rooftop interior and the rooftop areas. A warning section titled Defeat Helmet Soldiers advises players to eliminate the 2 helmet soldiers found in the room before the rooftop area. It highlights that these soldiers, and others within the building, may use N-bombs, posing a threat to both the player and Cassandra. The maps detail locations of security cameras and other level features, including a helicopter landing zone marked on the rooftop map. The next page introduces a special mission titled Mayan SOS for Perfect Dark. This mission is set in Area 51 and involves a series of interconnected events stemming from a UFO crash and enemy research. The mission objectives are listed for different difficulty levels. On Advanced and Perfect Agent, you must stop the enemy's medical experiment. On Perfect Agent only, you need to destroy the captured Mayan ship. And across all difficulties, Agent, Advanced, Perfect Agent, you have to send an SOS signal to allies. To unlock all missions, you must play on Advanced difficulty. The page also provides map layouts for Experiment Lab 1 and Experiment Lab 2. Experiment Lab 1 features a warning section advising that to get a door opened by the enemy, you must use a psychic gun found on a desk near scientists at the starting location, and return to the door to have it opened. The description for Mission 1, Stop the Enemy's Medical Experiment, explains that the goal is to dispose of the bodies of the Mayan Earth ambassador, who arrived after a UFO crash. It warns that powerful enemies will appear, and that headshots are crucial for conserving ammunition against these foes. Map icons are defined at the bottom. E indicates an elevator, a gun symbol represents an unmanned machine gun, and a key symbol denotes a door lock. This page focuses on the research area of the special mission Mayan SOS in Perfect Dark. The page provides a map of the area and several warning sections giving gameplay advice. One warning explains how to recruit an enemy as an ally by using psychic weapons like the psychic kick or psychic gun on enemies equipped with Trent's magnums. Another warning alerts players to automatic machine guns in a room and advises caution. There's also a warning regarding defeating scientists to obtain psychic gun bullets, which are essential for the mission if playing without allies. Finally, the page mentions other potential partner candidates besides the magnum-wielding enemies, including dragon-equipped foes, noting that allies simplify combat and conserve ammunition. Screenshots are included to illustrate these gameplay tips. This page continues the guide for the Mayan SOS special mission, focusing on the cargo warehouse and shower room areas. The page provides a map layout of these locations, marked with points of interest labeled F, C, G, D, and E. There are 2 warning tips highlighted. One advises players to stay close to allies recruited using psychic weapons, as they can become separated and unable to rejoin if you move too far away. It suggests staying close to your allies to effectively navigate combat. The second warning emphasizes the importance of conserving ammunition, stating, "Always pick up magazines." It highlights that ammo will be scarce in this mission, so players should collect magazines, even those dropped by enemies defeated by allies. The page also displays map icons for an elevator and a door lock. This page continues the guide for the Mayan SOS special mission and presents map layouts for two areas, Warehouse Upper and Warehouse Lower. There are two highlighted warning tips provided on this page. Warning 4 points out often overlooked horizontal caves, explaining that while there are few enemies in this mission, the map is large and features horizontal caves that are easy to miss. It advises players to be careful when navigating these passages. Warning 5, titled, Destroy the UFO with Containers, explains that the warehouse is densely populated with enemies, making approaching the UFO difficult. It suggests using containers as makeshift bombs. Players are advised to push containers from a distance and detonate them when close to the UFO, allowing them to eliminate enemies in one go. The page also includes screenshots and map icons, indicating elevators and door locks within the depicted areas. The next page continues the Special Mission Mayan SOS Guide, focusing on the secret warehouse area and warehouse office. Objective number 2 is Destroy the contained Mayan ship, instructing players to destroy the UFO located in the warehouse. It suggests shooting the UFO or using container bombs, but warns of a significant explosion radius, advising players to keep a safe distance. Objective number 3 is Send an SOS to allies. This section explains that what appears to be a solid wall can be destroyed by shooting, revealing a computer on the other side to send an SOS signal to the Carrington Institute. The page also includes map icons for elevators and door locks within the warehouse map layouts. This page details the special mission, War in Perfect Dark, which becomes available after Mission 9, when Mayan forces begin a ground operation. The mission objectives are to defeat King's clones, specifically King's Clone number 1, number 2, and number 3, across Agent, Advanced, and Perfect difficulty levels. To unlock this special mission, players must clear all missions on Perfect difficulty. The page includes a warning to fight alongside friendly Mayan soldiers, noting that although Skedar forces have lost their king, making their attacks erratic, they are still dangerous. A map of the holy area is displayed, and Objective 1 is explained, advising players that the first clone king will appear near the altar and to eliminate the Zako Skedar enemies first to avoid a prolonged and difficult battle. Screenshots from the game are also included. This page continues the Special Mission, War Guide, specifically focusing on Objective 2, defeating King's Clone number 2 in Perfect Dark. It includes a warning that explosive shells are effective in this area, because Skedar enemies tend to gather in corners. The guide suggests using Phoenix bombshells to take out multiple enemies at once. A map titled Skedar King's Room is displayed, showing objective markers 2 and 3, and there are also screenshots of the game in action, illustrating the fight against Skedar King's clones. The next page continues the Special Mission, War Guide, and focuses on Objective 3, defeating King's Clone number 3 in Perfect Dark. It describes this as the final objective, and suggests an aggressive, short-term battle strategy, implying the player is likely fighting solo against clones. The page provides VS mission points, offering tactical advice for both Mayan and Skedar players in this mission. For Magellan players, it highlights the powerful Phoenix bombshells as advantageous, recommending utilizing allied Magellan support and avoiding deep enemy pursuit to minimize risk. For Skedar players, it discusses the Mauler weapon, noting it's less favorable compared to Macarian weaponry. Skedar strategy should focus on securing good positions, using cover effectively, and flanking opponents. Screenshots are included to visually demonstrate gameplay from both the Maconian and Skedar perspectives. This guide details 3 special mission challenges in Perfect Dark. The first, dataDyne Security Guard, has players defeat weak security guards, emphasizing positioning for easy one-shot kills. The second, Defeat Jonathan, pits players against a difficult opponent whose arms are initially visible. Players are advised to use walls for cover and warned to run to cover immediately due to Jonathan and Trent's accuracy. The final mission, Defeat Trent Easton, a perfect agent-only challenge, requires players to overcome a powerful foe with a magnum and high accuracy. Players are encouraged to exploit Trent's slightly slower shooting interval and to utilize unarmed combat and dodging strategies to survive. The next page showcases a section titled Combat Simulator. The image features a 3D rendered female character holding a futuristic gun, suggesting this page is related to the combat simulation aspect of the game. The page title itself in both Japanese and English, confirms this focus on the combat simulator. This page is a guide to the combat simulator mode in Perfect Dark. It explains that this mode is for 1 to 4 players, involving team-based battles where players are divided into enemy teams and compete for scores. The page details the challenge mode, which features predetermined rules and stages where players fight against computer teams. Clearing one challenge unlocks new ones, with up to 30 stages available. Multiple players can play together as allies in this mode. The guide also covers game settings load, explaining how to use presets for battles, use Quick Start, or access detailed game settings. Quick Start is described as a fast way to begin playing after team selection. Game settings, details, offers options to customize rules, controls, team names, and other settings. Players can save their detailed challenge settings for later use. Finally, the page mentions Secrets of Battle, revealing that selectable combat arenas are unlocked based on challenge completion, with specific conditions for unlocking each arena. The listed unlockable arenas are Ruins equals Challenge 1, Underground Passage. Warehouse equals 3, Dark Base equals 5, Courtyard equals 6G5, Building equals 9, Grid equals 11, Factory equals 12, Villa equals 14. The page also shows screenshots of in-game menus, including the challenge mode selection screen and the personal settings menu, with options like name, character, controls, personal options, status, load personal settings, and save personal settings. Perfect Dark's combat simulator offers 6 distinct game modes. Combat is standard deathmatch. Attaché Case 1 tasks players with holding a case for points, while hacking involves a timed PC hack. Onigako is a tag-like mode where players earn points by being or defeating the Oni. Territory capture pits teams against each other to control zones, and Attaché Case 2 is a team-based case stacking mode. The page also notes locations with numbers, likely point values or challenge stage numbers. Sewer Facility 16, Parking 17, Graveyard 18, Pavilion 20, and Temple 22. AI difficulty is unlocked through challenges. Simulant Weak, Challenge 4, Simulant Strong, Challenge 9, and Simulant Dark, Challenge 21. This page details the main options within Perfect Dark's combat simulator. It highlights one-shot kill mode, where any weapon eliminates opponents in a single hit, making for a thrilling battle. Slow motion mode reduces game speed, adjustable in 2 levels, acting as the opposite of high-speed movement. High-speed movement mode accelerates all in-game speeds from walking upwards, creating fast-paced battles. Radar ineffective mode hides the radar display, forcing players to rely on sight, emphasizing finding opponents quickly. Auto-aim ineffective disables auto-aim, requiring precise aiming skills to hit targets. The points option allows scoring to be added to rules beyond combat, like defeating enemies, enhancing combat rules. The page also mentions other game settings, where players can further customize gameplay by selecting from arena choices, weapon sets, enemy simulation counts, strengths, and more, enabling diverse scenarios for each playthrough and encouraging saving favorite settings. Personal settings allow players to customize their character's appearance, name, and controls. Saved settings let players use the same character in subsequent plays and track cumulative battle records, fostering character attachment. A screenshot on the page displays weapon and power selection options within a menu, showing MagSec 4, DY357 Magnum, Dragon, AR-34, and Shield as selectable items, implying customizable weapon loadouts. The text next to the image indicates that changing the weapons available also changes the battle strategy. This Perfect Dark Combat Simulator guide highlights key combat techniques. Map knowledge is crucial. Explore maps in no enemy settings to learn layouts and use radar. Prioritize powerful, single-shot weapons and explosives for their high damage output. In timed matches, focus on preserving your lead. In human versus human matches, attack from a higher position for a tactical advantage, making it harder for opponents to retaliate. The guide also includes a weapon power list for reference. The next page introduces the Skater stage, which is described as a fundamental stage designed for 5 challenges, featuring a large atrium, long stairs, and underground passages, making it ideal for players to get accustomed to the combat simulator. The page displays a map of Skater's first floor, labeling different areas with letters A through J and A and B, along with R markers for respawn points and weapon and ammo icons scattered across the map. Text box A describes the underground passage as straight and long with limited hiding spots, noting that the dead-end section connects to the first floor via holes, and visibility within the passage is good. Text box B focuses on an area called Fight, using pillars as shields, which is the central floor with 4 pillars. It suggests using the pillars for cover to snipe enemies, but also warns that enemies may be hiding there, advising players to pay attention to their radar when passing through this area. The bottom of the page shows the map icon legend, detailing that the gun icon represents weapons, the bullet icons represent ammo, and R indicates respawn points. This page continues detailing the scatter stage, now focusing on the second floor of the combat simulator level in Perfect Dark. The page presents a map of the second floor, labeling key areas with letters C, D, E, and F, alongside smaller areas marked A through J and R for respawn points, just like the first floor. Area C, labeled Intersection of Passages, is described as a central room with 4 connecting passages and high enemy encounter rates, making it a critical battle zone. Area D, second floor blow-through, is a blown-out section where the only way to reach the opposite side is by going back down to the first floor. Area E, the second floor sandy room, has a single entrance, making it a perfect spot for ambushes, and it's suggested that if you're in trouble, you can escape to the underground passage via a hole in the floor. Finally, Area F, labeled Always Be Ready to Shoot, connects the first and second floors with 4 sets of stairs, and is noted as another area with frequent enemy encounters. There are also small screenshots showing sections of areas D and F, and a tip at the bottom right suggests using parallel movement when ascending to the second floor. The Perfect Dark Combat Simulator presents several challenges. Early challenges like Challenge 1 focus on basic combat skills, pitting players against weak simulants with weapons like the Falcon 2 and CMP 150. Challenge 4 introduces shielded enemies, encouraging strategic use of cover and advantageous positioning with weapons like the MagSec 4 and K7 Avenger. Challenge 8 uses Attack 2 rules, rewarding base defense and enemy elimination, with both aggressive and cautious strategies viable. Challenge 12 features slow-motion combat, recommending the S-Dragon launcher for easy success. The final challenge, Challenge 30, involves defending against dark simulants without launcher weapons, emphasizing teamwork and close-quarters combat using weapons like the Falcon 2 and MagSec 4. Useless is consistently an option in the weapon list. This page of the Combat Simulator Guide for Perfect Dark details the Pipes level, which consists of 2 above-ground floors and 1 underground floor. The key to success in this level is effectively using the holes and elevators to move between floors quickly. Section A describes the spiral staircase connecting the first and second floors. It advises that when descending, it's best to jump down all at once, rather than walking, to save time and maintain situational awareness. Section B focuses on the elevator. It warns that when riding the elevator, players are vulnerable to enemies attacking from above and below. It is important to check for enemies on each floor before using the elevator. Section C is about the hole leading to the underground floor, located in the center of a pillar-surrounded room. This hole provides access to the underground area. Players need to be careful not to fall in unintentionally. Section D describes walls with many gaps found on the first floor's east side. These walls have holes and are dangerous as enemies can shoot through them. Players should be aware of this threat. The page also includes a map of the pipe's first floor, highlighting the locations of the spiral staircase. A. Elevators, B and E. The underground hole, C, and the walls with gaps, D. There are also weapon positions marked on the map. This page continues the Combat Simulator Guide for Perfect Dark, focusing on the pipes level, specifically the second floor. Section E describes a long spiral staircase on the second floor's east side as a dangerous area. It notes that falling from it can be deadly, but using it effectively allows for a quick descent to the lower levels. Section F warns about the dangers of elevators. It advises that when going down to the first floor, jumping from the elevator is the quickest method. Riding the elevator slowly makes players vulnerable to enemy attacks, offering them a prime opportunity to strike. Section G highlights elevators as surprisingly good ambush locations, despite being dangerous. The limited visibility from the elevator entrance makes it an ideal spot to wait and target enemies as they approach through the narrow passages. Section H points out a sniping spot. It describes an area with pillars on the first floor that overlooks rooms below. By aiming carefully, players can shoot down into the lower floor. If attacked, retreating backward is possible, making it an excellent sniping location. The page includes a map of the pipe's second floor, marking locations E, F, G, and H, along with respawn points, R, weapon and ammunition icons. The Perfect Dark Combat Simulator Guide for the Pipes level focuses on the map's perilous environment. Beware of falling emphasizes open areas with instant death falls, advising caution when moving between floors. On the pipes, warns of vulnerability while traversing the pipes due to lack of cover and the risk of falling. To the first floor by ladder, highlights ladder locations as potential ambush points and recommends using them to trap opponents. Challenge 3 introduces paired, new type simulants, recommending timed explosives for fall damage. The recommended weapons include MagSec 4, CMP 150, timed explosives, Dragon, AR-34, and unarmed. This page introduces the ravine, also known as the mine base level. The description notes that while the map might not seem large, the height difference between the first and second floors is significant, creating a larger playable area than it appears. The walls are mostly rock face, which can make it difficult to spot opponents. A map of the mine base's first floor is shown. Point A on the map has a pipe caution note, warning players that in the first floor elevator area, there are long, narrow pipes. Players are advised to proceed carefully as they become easy targets and to be wary of enemies attacking from behind. In the bottom right corner, there is a general caution about dangerous points, where stepping outside the playable area will result in immediate death. Map icons for weapons, ammunition, and revival points are displayed, and the map itself uses markers like A, B, E, F, R, and A to indicate points of interest. The next page shows a strategy guide for the combat simulator, mine base level, specifically focusing on the second floor of the mine base. It advises against linear movement in Section B, as the wide-open rooms and passages make players easily visible targets. Zigzag movement is recommended instead. Section C describes the elevator, noting that while it ascends directly, descending stops at the second floor. It warns of the danger of slipping and falling when attempting to board the elevator going upwards from the second floor. Section D advises players to attack from the side in the elevator area, highlighting that the lack of obstacles makes it easy to snipe enemies, especially from the second floor. The guide recommends taking out enemies quickly in this area and warns players to be careful themselves when using the elevator. Point E on the map marks the elevator location. The page features a detailed map of the mine base second floor, marked with points of interest using letters and numbers to illustrate the described strategies. Continuing the guide for Perfect Dark on the Nintendo 64 from the previous page which covered the first floor. This Perfect Dark guide focuses on combat strategies. Effective use of vantage points, such as rooftops and higher floors, for sniping is a key tactic. Containers also offer good cover, allowing players to ambush enemies, though caution is advised against explosive weapons. Challenge 9 emphasizes a one-shot kill scenario. The recommended approach is to attack first, move unpredictably, and the laptop gun is the weapon of choice. Challenge 25 involves facing spike croak enemies. A preemptive strike and defensive positioning are crucial. The guide recommends using a room with 3 containers on the second floor for cover and utilizing radar to track enemies. Securing the Spike Croak and K7 Avenger weapons early is beneficial. This page of the Perfect Dark Guide details the G5 building map, specifically the underground floor. Section A highlights the staircase fall hazard on the east side, warning players about a long metal staircase connecting the first and second floors. Jumping down incorrectly can lead to instant death, so caution and careful checking are advised. Section B describes the exit to above ground passage in the west, a connecting point between the surface and underground. It suggests this area as a good ambush spot for enemies coming down. Finally, Section C covers the underground passage, which links the east and west underground floors. From here, players can attack enemies in the main floor passage above, but footing is poor, so careful movement is recommended. The Perfect Dark Guide's G5 building section details the main floor, starting with the balcony, a sniper-friendly area with plentiful weapons and ammo. Players are advised to target enemies crossing the 3 passageways. The radar section warns against over-reliance, as it can hinder visual awareness and lead to wasted ammo. Passageways and dash recommends using dash when crossing, prioritizing speed to avoid falling. An image illustrates the consequences of a fall. Challenge 13, a one-shot kill combat scenario, emphasizes ambushing a lone enemy simulant. Weapon choices include the Falcon 2 silencer, tranquilizer, laptop gun, hand grenade, Reaper, and no weapon. Finally, the guide explains map icons for weapons, ammo, and revival points. This page continues the Perfect Dark Guide, focusing on the combat simulator, G5 building area. It details 2 key locations on the map marked E and F. Location E, labeled Underground Hole, warns players of a pitfall in the main floor, suggesting caution and radar use to check for enemies below. Location F, Passage with Walls, describes a deadly walkway where only the southernmost path is safe from falling. The page then introduces 2 challenges. Challenge 19 is described as a high-speed combat scenario against shielded combat simulants. Defeating one mutant quickly is emphasized, and using the R launcher is recommended, highlighting the importance of weapon choice from the list provided. CMP 150, Shotgun, R launcher, Farsight, Shield, and Boost Pill. Challenge 29 is a dark-level combat against 2 shielded combat simulants. It suggests that strong weapons aren't necessary, and practical combat skills and a waiting strategy are more effective. The recommended weapon list for this challenge includes Falcon 2, Cyclone, DY 357 Magnum, CMP 150, Dragon, and Mu. Finally, the page identifies the E's icon on the map as an elevator. This page presents a map of the sewers level, also known as Sewers Facility, in the combat simulator of Perfect Dark. The text at the top describes the level as appearing simple in its map layout, but with intricate and narrow pathways, making it easy to get lost. It advises players to be mindful of going around in circles and the varying floor levels within the area, which can be confusing. Section A is titled, Elevator is Fast. It explains that all 3 elevators on this map operate at high speed, and players should be careful not to miss the timing for getting on and off. The map itself depicts the first floor of the sewers facility, highlighting the location of Elevator A and illustrating the positions of weapons, ammo, and revival points, using icon legends which are explained below the map as weapon, ammo, and revival point. This page shows the second floor map of the sewers facility in the combat simulator. Area B is highlighted as an ideal ambush spot in a narrow path on the north side of the second floor map, described as a secluded and easily defensible location. An accompanying image shows a first-person perspective down a red-lit corridor, emphasizing the narrowness of the space. Area C describes a surprise attack point, where a protruding wall allows players to conceal half their body in the southeastern part of the second floor. It suggests this spot is effective for attacking enemies who might simply pass through, offering a chance for a surprise attack. The image for C shows a player positioned behind a wall corner, aiming a weapon. Area E simply labels an elevator. This page presents the third floor map of the sewers facility in the combat simulator. Area D is detailed as an entrance to the 1st floor waterway from the second floor, emphasizing it as a risky dead-end spot where you can corner opponents if prepared. The image shows a grate, offering a glimpse into the waterway below, advising players to check before entering. Area E describes routes from the third floor to both the first and second floors via elevator, suggesting players can use these separate pathways to create surprise attacks and confuse enemies. The image shows an elevator shaft and questions whether to take the elevator or stairs back to the second floor. 2 challenge scenarios are outlined. Challenge 26, focused on one-shot kill mode with weak AI partners, recommending player teamwork and listing weapons including the Mauler and Falcon 2, and Challenge 27, which is about hacking against aggressive opponents who rush you, making hacking nearly impossible and advising weapon readiness and shield usage, listing weapons like the Falcon 2, MagSec 4, and R launcher. Map icons are also displayed for weapons, ammo, and respawn points. This page introduces the warehouse stage within the combat simulator, describing it as a simple, 2-level structure with main floors connected by pathways and detailed catwalks, making the layout easy to remember. Area A is highlighted as the catwalk hole, explaining that from the catwalk, players can drop into the main floor from a hole in the north. It suggests using radar to lure enemies underneath and then attacking from above for a fun tactic. A note mentions that crouching movement is required in this area. Area B focuses on attacking the room from above, detailing the catwalk's outer perimeter as a good vantage point to oversee the central room of the main floor. It's suitable for shooting and placing explosives. However, it warns that this is an easily spotted location, advising players to use parallel movement to avoid being targeted. Finally, E marks the elevator location on the map. The next page continues, the Combat Simulator Guide, now focusing on specific combat tactics within the warehouse stage. Section C details the fierce fighting container room, located in the west of the main floor, which is described as a container-filled room where intense firefights are expected. It advises using launcher-pana-type weapons or hand grenades, and suggests aiming for the corners of containers to effectively inflict explosion damage. Section D is about attacking from above containers. It explains that players can climb onto stacked containers to gain a vantage point to target enemies. From this elevated position, crouching is recommended for targeting opponents below. However, it warns that visibility from below becomes poor, so players need to be aware of enemy movements. Section E describes passageways under containers. Narrated. It reveals that there are passageways under the container clusters in the central room of the main floor, accessible by crouching. These passages are suggested as good hiding spots, especially for ambushes against single enemies. However, it cautions against engaging multiple opponents in these narrow passages, and recommends caution. The next page continues the Combat Simulator Guide, now focusing on the warehouse stage. Section F points out the best ambush spot, located in the south room of the main floor where there are 3 containers. It suggests that by crouching behind these containers, you can easily hide and launch surprise attacks on opponents entering the room. Challenge 7 discusses tactics for sudden death mode and camp control, advising that while reaching enemy camps is relatively easy, entering them under sudden death rules is risky. It recommends that if you are winning and have captured camps, it's more effective to abandon the captured camp and aim to secure the next one. A weapon list is also presented, which includes items like the Falcon 2 silencer, MagSec 4, Cyclone, Fury Bullet, Shield, and No Effect. Finally, the page shows a map of the warehouse stage, with labeled locations and respawn points. This page continues the Combat Simulator Guide, focusing on the grid stage, which is described as mostly rectangular and 2-story. It mentions that smaller rooms are minimal, providing good overall visibility, suggesting dynamic battles will unfold there. The page presents a map of the grid stage's first floor, labeled as Grid First Floor, and includes map icons for weapons, ammunition, and respawn points. Section A is titled Locked Door, and explains that the door located in the north of the first floor is locked and cannot be opened, so it cannot be used as an escape route. Section B is titled Surrounded Room, and describes a room in the west of the first floor with doors on both sides and sensors. It suggests this room is a good spot to set up sensor bombs and other traps. This page continues the Combat Simulator Guide and details the grid stage, specifically the second floor. The map presented is labeled Grid Second Floor and displays a mostly rectangular layout with different room configurations compared to the first floor. Locations C and E are marked as elevators, and the text explains that these elevators have entrances and exits facing different directions, warning players of potential back attacks if they use them incorrectly. Location D advises players on combat strategy, stating that this stage doesn't have reliable hiding spots, so constant movement and awareness of enemy counterattacks are crucial, suggesting players utilize the open space for movement while shooting. The map also includes icons for various weapons like handguns, shotguns, and rocket launchers, ammunition, and respawn points marked with R. The Combat Simulator Grid Stage Guide focuses on the second floor, highlighting 2 risky glass environments, the glass room and glass floor, offering poor cover and posing fall hazards. Challenge 15 is a battle against 2 weaker enemies, best approached by acquiring a shield and using the attach case. A vantage point and radar monitoring are recommended. The Debaster is a powerful weapon, but players should watch out for its blast radius. Challenge 21 presents a stronger opponent, JD, in a hacking battle. The strategy involves initiating the hack with a data link while JD is stationary. The lack of shields initially emphasizes use of the Spickloak item for temporary invisibility. The next page continues the Combat Simulator Shrine Stage Guide, detailing the Ruins map, also known as Shrine 1. This stage is described as being structured with building interiors and outdoor corridors. It's a relatively simple map, but players are warned about tricky sections. The guide focuses on Section 2 Central Area, marked as A on the map. It describes this section as a diamond-shaped room in the center of Section 2 and suggests players position themselves in the northeast corner to easily spot enemies entering from the left and right entrances, recommending ambushing them as they approach. This page continues the guide for the Combat Simulator Shrine stage, specifically focusing on the Shrine 2 map. Section B, Major Branching Path, describes a central area in Shrine 2 where 4 paths converge. It notes that while defending this point might seem unfavorable, the long corridors make it a good spot for ambushes if players concentrate on radar to detect approaching enemies. Section C, Hole in the Passage, details a long corridor on the west side of Shrine 2, which has 3 holes in the middle. It warns that it's dark and easy to fall. However, these holes can be used to ambush enemies below. Players are advised to memorize this location. Section D, Jump Down and Take the Rear, explains a strategy using the holes in Shrine 2 to launch a surprise attack from behind. It suggests letting enemies pass, then jumping down and attacking from the rear. This tactic is effective if timed well, even against strong simulants, and especially useful against human opponents. Challenge 26 is described as a tough capture-the-flag style game, with 2 strong simulant enemies and no shields. Victory requires thorough map knowledge to quickly identify enemy positions from the radar and secure bases. It emphasizes the difficulty of capturing the flag while being attacked and advises against unreasonable attempts. The page also includes a weapon list featuring Falcon 2, Mauler, Cyclone, Laptop Gun, Reaper, and Ineffective. Finally, it lists map icons for map, weapons, ammunition, and respawn point. This page continues the Combat Simulator Shrine Stage Guide, still focusing on the Shrine 2 map. Section E, titled Difficult to Open Door, Caution, warns players about a door in this stage that is tricky to open. It suggests that the door might be malfunctioning or power-starved, causing it to open erratically. Players are advised to press the button, and if it only opens slightly, wait a moment and try again. It's recommended to avoid using this door when in a hurry or trying to escape. Section F, Wall with a Hollow Upper Part, describes a specific wall found in the southern part of Shrine 1 and the southernmost passage of Shrine 2. This wall has a hollow upper section, enabling players to see enemies on the other side, but not pass through directly. The guide suggests this as a good spot for attack and retreat tactics, allowing players to shoot at enemies and then quickly move back to safety. A screenshot illustrates this point of view, showing a player looking through the hollow part of the wall. This page details Area 52, also known as Area 52, specifically the main base section in Perfect Dark. The main floor of Area 52 is described as being very large, and traveling from east to west takes considerable time. Chance elements are also mentioned as significant factors in this area, with a small rooftop section noted in the southwest. The page features a map of the main base, marking weapon and ammo locations, and respawn points indicated by R. Area A highlights the hexagonal passage in the southwest of the main base, characterized by hexagonal corridors. This area is described as dangerous due to numerous doors creating opportunities for surprise attacks, despite being near weapon and ammunition depots. The map legend explains the icons used: a gun for weapons, ammo cartridges for ammunition, and R for respawn points. This page continues the guide for Area 52 in Perfect Dark, focusing on specific locations within the main base. It highlights 3 areas. The dome-shaped room located centrally, which is good for ambushes because it has only one entrance, though be aware the windows can be opened. Next is the watchtower, in the southeast of the main base, featuring 3 towers, making it ideal for sniping, but vulnerable at the base. Finally, it describes Inside the Trench, located centrally in the watchtower area, a risky low passage, good for flanking but dangerous, due to being a one-way route and exposing players to enemy fire. The page includes in-game screenshots of each location and continues to display the map of Area 52, marking weapon and ammunition spawns and respawn points. The next page of the Perfect Dark Guide continues to focus on the combat simulator area within Area 52. This page details 3 specific challenges: Challenge 2, Challenge 6, and Challenge 14. For each challenge, the guide gives a brief description of the scenario and suggests strategies for success. Challenge 2 is described as combat against novice simulator opponents, recommending the R launcher and encouraging players to be aggressive. The weapon list for this challenge includes weapons like the Falcon 2, Cyclone, Dragon, and R launcher. Challenge 6 takes place in Attaché Case 1, cautioning players not to underestimate the 4 weak enemies. It advises securing the attaché case and ammunition, then adopting a defensive position in a watchtower to repel enemies using weapons such as the CMP-150, DY-357 Magnum, shotgun, and K7 Avenger. Variant election. Challenge 14 is Attaché Case 2, involving 2 enemies. The guide highlights the risk of a back-and-forth scenario, where players might lose their own case while trying to capture the opponent's. It suggests defending your own base if it's strategically advantageous, especially after gaining a point lead. This challenge introduces the spike wire for the first time, recommending players learn to use it effectively, and suggests the S-Dragon as a recommended weapon. Weapons listed for Challenge 14 include the Cyclone, S-Dragon, K7 Avenger, Farsight, and Spikewire. Additionally, the page includes a legend of map icons for weapons, ammunition, and respawn points, consistent with the map layout displayed on previous pages. The base stage in Perfect Dark's combat simulator features long, disorienting corridors, ideal for long-range shooting. Utilizing sniper rifles and ambushing opponents in container-filled corridors is recommended. Players should be cautious of the steep spiral staircase in the north, raising their viewpoint while ascending to avoid ambushes. Challenge 22. An Attaché Case 1 scenario in one-shot kill mode favors a sniping strategy, particularly with the K7 Avenger or sniper rifle, due to a strong enemy simulant. The recommended strategy is to secure the attaché case, and then snipe from locations such as the dead-end area in the northeast. The weapon list includes the Falcon 2, sniper rifle, crossbow, K7 Avenger, and shield. The map also contains an elevator. This page of the Perfect Dark Mission Clear Guidebook showcases the base first floor level. It features a detailed map of the stage, marked with icons for weapons, ammo, and respawn points. A text box describes the first floor central floor as a major hub with 4 passages, an elevator, and a ladder terminal, suggesting it's a prime location for enemy encounters and recommending players to attack downwards from the second floor area. Another text box points out that the area near the top of the ladder is an excellent spot to aim downwards. The page also includes a zoomed-in screenshot of a part of the map and a key explaining the map icons for weapons, ammo, and respawn points. The next page details the base second floor level in the battle simulator of Perfect Dark. This page presents a map of the stage, clearly marked with R for respawn points and icons for weapons and ammunition. There are key locations indicated by letters A, B, C, and D, along with D and E marked in boxes which are further explained in text boxes. Text box D describes the transparent floor, noting that around the 2ND floor elevator, there are transparent floors. It mentions that while they appear like glass, they are very strong and cannot be broken by bullets, advising players to remember this. Text box E simply indicates elevator. The next page presents a map for the pavilion first floor level within the fortress stage of Perfect Dark. This floor plan is marked with R symbols indicating respawn points and icons for weapons and ammunition placements. Key areas on the map are labeled with letters A, B, C, and D, along with boxed A and B, which are further detailed in text boxes. Text box A, titled Caution, Death by Falling, warns players about the central room on the first floor, highlighting the narrow walkways where missteps can lead to fatal falls. It advises players to proceed cautiously. Text box B, titled Grasp Your Location by Color Coding, explains that each block on the first floor is color-coded on the walkways to help players orient themselves. It recommends memorizing the color of each block as a fundamental but useful navigation tip. This page presents a map of the pavilion's second floor for the battle simulator stage in Perfect Dark. The map is marked with R symbols indicating respawn points, weapon icons, and E symbols for elevators. Key areas on the map are labeled A, B, C, and D, along with boxed C and D, which are described in detail in text boxes. Text box C is titled Elevator Down and describes the elevator connecting the second and third floors as an ideal sniping spot for enemies coming from above. It recommends using rapid-fire weapons for ambushes, and if you are descending and suspect enemies are waiting, to either jump down while firing continuously or use explosive weapons beforehand. Text box D is titled Waiting Between Pillars and describes the 2ND floor passage with its wide pillar openings, suitable for ambushes. It suggests hiding deep within or attacking by partially exposing yourself from behind a pillar. This page presents the Pavilion third floor map for the battle simulator in Perfect Dark. The map shows R symbols indicating respawn points, weapon icons, and E symbols for elevators. Text box E is titled Third Floor Balcony, and it details that in the central part of the third floor, there are balconies in 4 locations overlooking the entire pavilion, making them ideal sniping spots. It mentions that the central parts of the first and third floors are all within the line of sight, making it a prime location for sniping. It advises being aware of enemies coming from behind and suggests using a radar to check for ambushes. It also recommends that if you secure a balcony, it can become the best sniping point for long-range engagements. The page also includes Challenge 24, which seems to be a game mode or scenario. The rules state it's an attached Case 2 scenario. 4 enemies will appear, but they are weak types, so it's recommended to defeat them one by one. It advises to aim for high scores and then protect the case afterwards. A weapon list is provided for this challenge, including the CMP-150, Tranquilizer, Devastator, S-Dragon, and DY-357LX. The Villa map in Perfect Dark's combat simulator features the underground passage interior, a winding passage ideal for ambushes, and the underground passage entrance/exit, a northwest location best attacked from a higher brick structure. Crouching is recommended for concealment. Challenge 18 pits the player against aggressive and new human enemies. Due to the aggressive enemy's strength, flanking and utilizing the spike clock and high ground are advised. The weapon selection includes the Falcon 2, Phoenix, Tranquilizer, laptop gun, shield, and spike clock. Challenge 28 involves 2 dark-type enemies, where shields and spike clocks are ineffective. The player should rely on pistol and rifle weapons, such as the AR-34 or Magnum, in this encounter. Weapon options include Falcon 2 Silencer, DY-357 Magnum, AR-34, shotgun, and no weapon. Lastly, there is an elevator on this map. The next page presents the Villa map for the combat simulator in Perfect Dark. This map highlights locations marked A, B, and E, along with R symbols indicating respawn points. You can also see icons for weapon and ammunition pickups scattered around the map. The legend at the bottom clarifies these icons, defining weapons, ammo, and respawn points. This Villa map likely corresponds to the combat simulator challenges mentioned on the previous page. This page continues to explore the Villa map for the combat simulator in Perfect Dark. It highlights specific strategic points marked as C, D, and E on the map, along with R symbols for respawn locations and icons indicating weapon and ammunition pickups. Point C, labeled Courtyard Aiming Point, is located in the map's eastern courtyard. The guide explains that a broken section of wall in the eastern passage allows players to aim into the courtyard while crouching, and also provides a way to descend into the courtyard. Point D, southernmost overpass, is identified as an excellent sniping position situated on the southern overpass of the map. It is described as ideal for sniping enemies approaching the overpass from both the north and south directions, and also provides a view into the room directly below. Point E, Use Disarm 2, recommends using disarming tactics within this map due to the abundance of hiding places. It suggests that surprising and disarming weaker enemies can be easily achieved on this stage, encouraging players to attempt this tactic when possible. This page, number 174, showcases the parking map for the combat simulator in Perfect Dark. This map, specifically the first floor of the parking area, is highlighted as a recommended stage for enjoying multiplayer shooting battles. A key piece of strategic advice for this level is provided, emphasizing that moving in straight lines is strictly prohibited, especially on the first and third floors. Players are advised to move in a zigzag pattern to avoid being easily targeted. The map layout is depicted with icons showing the locations of weapons, ammunition, and respawn points marked with R. This page continues the guide for the combat simulator parking map. Now focusing on the parking second floor. Section B describes the spiral staircase as a passage connecting floors, noting there are 4 in total. It warns that these staircases are narrow, with poor visibility and long distances, advising players to be careful of attacks from above and below floors when using them, and that dashing is the movement option when using the stairs. Section C talks about hiding while crouching on the second floor, highlighting that there are several horizontally fallen obstacles that can be used for cover. Crouching behind these objects makes players harder to spot compared to hiding behind normal pillars. The map layout shows weapon and ammo locations, along with R for respawn points and C indicating cover locations. This page continues the Combat Simulator Parking Map Guide, now focusing on the parking third floor. Section D is titled Container Dense Area, explaining it's the most hidden spot on the third floor, located on the west side, and is a collection of containers. It suggests that hiding within this container cluster makes you harder to spot and offers better defense against projectiles due to the larger defensive area compared to hiding behind a single container. Section E is titled Runaway Central, suggesting that while basically any floor can be a good hiding spot, the center of this floor is surprisingly effective. It advises players to read where enemies are coming from, and if you can predict when an enemy is about to enter the door, you can prepare to aim and fire as soon as the door opens. The map displays weapon and ammo locations, along with R indicating respawn points, continuing the visual guide for this area. The temple stage in Combat Simulator is dimly lit, requiring players to learn its layout. Key features include the deceptive appearance of walls and doors, necessitating the use of the B button to identify doorways. Corridors, especially those connecting different levels or rooms, are highlighted as particularly dangerous due to their narrowness and potential for ambushes. Gameplay tips emphasize caution in dark passages, and note that doors open slowly. 2 challenges are presented. Challenge 10 is a hacking challenge, advising players to use shields for cover and counterattack if interrupted. Challenge 17 is a rush challenge, where players must defeat an enemy in their territory, with the Slayer's rocket camera being recommended for ranged attacks. Weapon lists for each challenge are also provided. This page shows the map for the temple main floor area in the Combat Simulator mode. Key locations are marked on the map from A through E and A, B. Weapon and ammo locations are shown with icons, and respawn points are indicated by R. Text box B gives advice on using pillar shadows in the temple main floor to one's advantage, showing an in-game screenshot to illustrate this tip. The map key at the bottom details the icons used to represent weapons and ammo. This page continues the Combat Simulator Temple map, now showing the temple underground floor. Locations C, D, and E are detailed, along with weapon, ammo, and respawn points. Location C, the underground northeast small room, is described as brighter than surrounding areas, making it a dangerous spot to linger as you're easily seen. It connects to many paths, so extended stays are discouraged. Location D, waiting in the ceiling hole, is a large central hole in the floor, ideal for ambushing enemies who may fall in, as depicted in the screenshot. Location E, effective sack alley for ambush, is a narrow alley in the southernmost part of the map, useful for both chasing enemies and setting up ambushes due to its considerable length. The next page presents a guide for the complex level, also known as ruins, specifically the first floor of this Combat Simulator stage in Perfect Dark. The text describes the complex as a stage for combat simulators featuring a complex structure across 2 floors. It mentions that the layout includes numerous connecting passages and flying drop-off points and stairs, which contribute to a more intricate overall impression. The page includes a map of the ruins' first floor, showing locations marked with letters A to H, along with icons for weapons, ammo, and respawn points. A key at the bottom explains the map icons. A gun represents weapons, bullets represent ammo, and the letter R in a square signifies respawn points. This page continues the guide for the ruins stage, now focusing on the second floor of the Combat Simulator level in Perfect Dark. Section A highlights Shield is Here, describing it as a challenging stage where shields can be found in a room accessible by stairs from both the first and second floors. Section B details the Pillar Labyrinth area, noting that the pillars obstruct visibility, making it hard to attack enemies. And Section C points out a sniper specialty spot, reached by stairs from point H on the first floor. This spot offers a good vantage point to target enemies in the V-shaped passage on the first floor. The page includes a map of the ruins' second floor, marked with letters A through E, icons for weapons and ammo, and R for respawn points. The Ruins stage in Perfect Dark's combat simulator favors high ground, allowing for better visibility and advantageous attacks. The underground area is hazardous due to fall risks and a single exit point. Specific challenges include battles against varying simulant types. Challenge 5 involves a weak simulant with weapons like the Cyclone and AR-34. Challenge 11 features a strong simulant, with the map's layout posing a significant challenge, using weapons such as the MagSec-4 and shotgun. Challenge 23 features a slow-motion fight against two strong simulants, where ranged attacks and aggressive individual combat tactics are advised, using weapons like the laptop gun and RCP-120. The map icons indicate weapon and ammo locations. This page focuses on the factory stage within the combat simulator. The factory level is described as having large indoor areas and many corridors with numerous doors, which can be used for strategic ambushes and to control enemy movement. The page features a map of the restroom area within the factory level, indicating points of interest and weapon locations. Challenge 16 is detailed as a 1vs1 fight against a tough simulant with no radar, recommending the use of sensor bombs, especially in the restroom area, by placing them in the ceiling ventilation to ambush enemies entering the toilet area. The guide advises constant vigilance of both doors and ceilings. A weapon list is shown with the Falcon 2, K7 Avenger, S-Dragon, Sensor Bomb, Shield, and Null. A screenshot depicts gameplay inside the factory's restroom area. This page focuses on the factory main floor of the combat simulator, detailing different areas within it. The western side of this floor is described as a maze-like layout of small rooms where it's easy to get lost. Another section points out a long pipe in a room south of the east-west corridor, mentioning that one of these pipes is enterable and can be used to ambush enemies entering the room. The guide also notes that certain rooms within the stage have glass windows that are destructible, encouraging players to break them for a more aggressive approach. The page includes a map of the factory main floor, marked with R for revival points, weapon icons numbered to indicate quantities, and sections labeled B, C, and D corresponding to the text descriptions. Map icons for weapons, ammo, and revival points are also listed with their Japanese names. This page continues the guide for the combat simulator factory level, focusing on two specific areas. Area E is described as a corridor viewing room at the east end of the main floor, positioned near the toilets, and suitable for camping and observing the corridor below. It's mentioned that by opening the door, you can get a clear view of the corridor and target enemies advancing through it. Area F is the ventilation duct, which is connected to the toilets. The guide explains that to descend into the duct, you need to press the R button while standing over a hole, and you might fall through. It notes it's uncommon to fall just by walking, so using the R button is the intended method. If walking doesn't work, trying the R button is recommended to enter the duct. The page includes a map section showing areas E and F, marked with R for revival points and weapon icons, visually representing these locations within the factory level. This page highlights Rareware N64 games and their history. It mentions that Rare, a UK-based developer, became prominent due to their work on Donkey Kong. Page then introduces 4 N64 games developed by Rare. First is Blastozer, released on March 21, 1997. It's described as an action game, where you control a trailer filled with dangerous materials that can cause explosions. The goal is to destroy obstacles in your path, using various vehicles to demolish buildings and solve puzzles, with race-like stages. Next up is GoldenEye 007, released on August 23, 1997. The page notes that more details can be found on page 188. Following that is Diddy Kong Racing, released on November 21, 1997. This is described as a racing adventure game starring Diddy Kong from the Super Donkey Kong series. Players can race in carts, hovercrafts, and airplanes against the evil Whizpig. The gameplay involves picking up items on the courses to attack opponents and includes races against giant boss characters. Finally, Banjo-Kazooie's Great Adventure, released on December 8, 1998, is presented as a 3D action game that surpassed Mario 64 in terms of acclaim. It features Banjo the Bear and Kazooie the Breegull working together to rescue Banjo's sister in a comical adventure with beautiful stages and action elements. This magazine page spotlights several Nintendo 64 games developed by Rareware. Jet Force Gemini, a shooting adventure with puzzle elements, involves twin siblings and a dog battling an insect army. Donkey Kong 64, a 3D action game, features multiple Kongs teaming up against King K. Rool, Perfect Dark is mentioned with a reference to further information. Banjo-Tooie, the second in the series, boasts more action and new features, with Mumbo Jumbo as a playable character. Mickey's Speedway USA is a racing game with Disney characters racing across American locations to help Pluto. The Future section previews upcoming games, including Conker's Quest, and hints at Rare's future releases on the Nintendo GameCube. This page is about the Nintendo 64 game GoldenEye 007. It highlights that Perfect Dark, released in 1997, used the system of GoldenEye 007 and refined it. GoldenEye 007 itself was released in America in 1998 and was a big hit. The page emphasizes that GoldenEye 007 is a 3D gun action game based on the movie GoldenEye, where you play as James Bond, Agent 007, performing secret missions. The gameplay involves infiltrating enemy bases and completing missions stealthily, offering a thrilling experience. The game system is described as a mission clear type, similar to Perfect Dark, where missions are assigned stage by stage. The difficulty is divided into 3 levels, with tasks increasing in difficulty. Mission content involves infiltrating enemy bases. The page also mentions the 4-player battle mode, highlighting that 007 was likely the first game of this type to offer 4-player battles, making it enjoyable and competitive. It's compared to combat simulators and classic arena stages, with cheat codes and classic weapons also being features. Finally, bonus missions are mentioned, stating that clearing all stages on the highest difficulty, 00 Agent Mode, unlocks 2 bonus stages. These stages are set in the movie Moonraker and Die Another Day, providing extra content for 007 fans. This page is a title page for Perfect Dark All Mission File, featuring a red silhouette of Joanna Dark against a black background with radiating red lines. This page details the backstory and setup for Perfect Dark. It explains that in the year 2023, a scientist named Daniel Carrington, famous for his anti-gravity technology and head of the Carrington Association, becomes suspicious of the weapons corporation dataDyne. He notices their incredibly advanced technology, which seems beyond current scientific understanding, and begins to suspect something is amiss. When a distress signal arrives from inside dataDyne from someone called Dr. Carroll, Carrington immediately sends in his rookie agent Joanna Dark, codenamed Perfect Dark, to investigate and infiltrate dataDyne headquarters. This text essentially sets the stage for the events of Perfect Dark. This page is the back cover of the Perfect Dark Nintendo 64 Dream Nintendo Stadium Strategy Guide. It features the game title, Perfect Dark, in bold lettering, along with the 64 Dream and Nintendo Stadium logos, indicating it's a Nintendo game strategy guide. The top image is a screenshot from the game, while the bottom right image shows futuristic-looking boots, also from the game. The page also includes the ISBN number, price of 1,219 yen, barcodes and publishing information from MYCOM.